entering the vicinity of an area adjacent to a location, the kind of place where there might be something terrifying, something weird. They're just examples. It could also be something much better. Prepare to enter the Knuckle Zone.
And welcome everybody back to another wonderful episode. Another wonderful time and day and place. Welcome. We have quite a lot to talk about today. It's been, it was a week. Took a week off. Because I beat Skyward Sword last week, and I ended up streaming for like 15 hours because I'm like, oh, there's only, I'll do a little bit more, and then 15 hours later, I was still playing the game. So I was pretty much run ragged last week, so that was the reason why I wasn't on. But that didn't stop the news. We're gonna cracked open a Blue Lobster. I'm digging into that. We have some merch to show off today, too. Came in the mail recently. We got the Knuckleheads tote bag. This thing is fucking massive, by the way. The Knuckleheads tote bag came in. It's very good quality. Solid quality bag. It can carry all of your cool Knuckleheads gear, all of your stuff if you want to keep it in there. It's got the nice logo there. On the back side, it's just the straight background. All over print. It is very nice. It is also 20% off today. You can see right here, the Knuckleheads official tote bag. I'll click on that so it'll bring it up here. It's $30 Canadian, but it's 20% off with August saving. Not big enough for hockey sticks, though. It's true. That is very true. Not quite big enough for hockey sticks, unless you're getting like the little mini sticks. It's big enough for mini sticks. There you go. But you can get all of your wonderful Knucklehead stuff. I am still waiting on like my cozy and my... I think I got the keychain bottle opener. I'm drinking out of my Knuckleheads beer cozy. My can cozy I have right here. We also have the shot glass. You can see the Knucklehead shot glass came in a little while ago too. Got the Knucklehead shot glass, as well as a few other things that we had. Very good stuff though. Very good stuff. Good to see a Blaze Firestorm. Hopefully more people start trickling in. I have lots of stuff to go over today. Hello, LEZ. How are you doing? So we'll just wait for a few more people to pile in here, because I know you miss a week and everyone forgets about you. That's the way it goes, right? You miss a week and everyone forgets about you. Everyone makes alternative plans. Everything like that, so I understand. Not a problem. We'll wait for a few more people to pile in here, because we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk a bit about the... hello, Dark Strange Nico. How you doing? We're going to talk a bit about a couple stories that came across my feed. Hello, Kyle Cowden. Texas is here. Excellent. Fantastic. See, I couldn't go forward without Texas. We have stories about people getting fired over tweets. I know it sounds ridiculous. Stop me if you've heard that one before. However, this is the most ridiculous thing I have found. Someone getting fired over liking a tweet from several years ago. That was interesting. We're going to talk a little bit about OnlyFans. How that website is garbage. How corporations in general are absolute fucking trash and need to be flushed. And we have a big announcement. Now, the big announcement is more of a teaser announcement, because it's for something that's going to be coming up. Nothing is officially finalized, but I think you might enjoy this one. I think you might enjoy it. It is a very, very interesting announcement. And I got some last-minute documents sent to me that I'm going to go over. Very interesting conversation between parties and Riot Games. So we have some interesting, bizarre Riot Games news that they don't want you to see. They don't want to talk about. So we have that to talk about today as well. So, yeah, I'm sorry about missing last week, guys. Again, I didn't have my voice. I'm gonna announce something coming up, but not coming up for sure. It'll come up eventually. It's just I'm gonna be talking about the details about said thing. It's a teaser. I don't have anything nailed down permanently yet, but this is the groundwork. We'll talk a bit about that. And I'm just seeing, Stan Dolan has been getting his fucking teeth kicked in by lunatics, on the internet this past week, because I guess people are like really worried about the appeals at this point, because they're really ramping up attacks on Stan for literally no reason. There's nothing that came out. There's nothing that has been going on with Stan Dolan, but he's been getting attacked almost like clockwork by people over his inclusion in the website, or not the website, in the lawsuit for Vic. And for some reason, people are like memory holding the fact that Monica was the one that brought him in the first place, and like just didn't tell him about it. So it's weird, very, very weird nonsense. But I digress. What I'm going to start off with here, something that people I'm sure already know. I don't know if you like the guy. I don't know if you hate the guy. But the new host of Jeopardy was forced to step down. Weirdly enough. Apparently this dude just appointed himself the host of Jeopardy, which is funny. Like, yeah, big ego dude. And he's been forced to step down after a cascade of scandals. Now, the cascade of scandals. Hello, Tom. How you doing? The cascade of scandals is literally just him like making a joke 20 years ago. That's pretty much what it boiled down to. I mean, if people are surprised that executives for television are scumbags, I mean, Jesus Jones, they need to like fucking. I don't know what rock they've been sleeping under, but Jesus Christ. So he made some disparaging remarks about women and the Jews back in 2013 on some fucking random show, and literally is called The Random Show. Major League Forecourts. Hello. And thank you, Kyle Cowden, for the super chat, the 49 super chat. They're not kicking Stan's teeth in. They're rubbing their fungus-ridden toes as Stan smiles. Oh my God. Oh my God, the image of that. Yeah, I was just talking about you, Stan. I was just talking about you. Exactly. Executives are like just nasty to begin with. So in the podcast, apparently he said he had asked his female assistant and his female co-host if they ever taken nude photos, or in his words, booby pictures. Have they ever taken booby photos? That's what he got canceled over. That's what he got, quote unquote, controversied out over. In another one, he called his co-host a booth hoe, a booth babe. I mean, sure. I don't understand what this. I don't understand what this fucking problem is. I don't understand. Like, I mean, whatever. Dude, bro, cringe comments, but he's apparently chosen to step down as the host of Jeopardy after like a week, because people have shaken the fucking tree of social media, picked out a fucking show that literally nobody watched, and attacked him. discriminating against multiple models working on The Price is Right accused Richards of discriminating against them for becoming pregnant while working on the show. I mean, if you're a model on The Price is Right, you generally aren't going to be a ham planet. Let's just make that. Didn't Ken Jennings, the real Ken, get in trouble for? Yeah, the real Ken Jennings. Well, they discover that he's actually a prick. Big surprise! Like he's actually an asshole in real life. Who would have thought that someone who has the answer to fucking everything would be a dick? Wow. But yeah, no, he wasn't. Ken Jennings wasn't ran out of there. He was just a temporary host. Richards issued in a statement disputing the characterization in the lawsuit. Oh, he's filing a lawsuit? Wait, what? He's filing a lawsuit? Variety reported he was in advanced negotiations for the coveted job. Wow. Imagine being like a fucking... imagine being a person at all. Cancel culture being weaponized by nitpicking people's past and attacking them. Just wait, it gets worse, Dark Strange Nico. It gets worse, okay? It gets worse. So this dude literally made a joke on a raunchy TV show fucking almost 10 years ago, and that's being used against him. And they're perfectly fine keeping him on to pay for the show as executive producer. They're keeping him on to pay for the show because his money's still good. His money's still good. It's just, you know, we can't have you. We can't have you up there. Oh, it gets so much worse. This other story I'm going to talk about. Just you wait. Just you wait. So here we go. Yeah. So he's stepping down as host of Jeopardy just after being announced as the host of Jeopardy because, you know, yeah, because people are really, really freaking dumb. We'll talk more about Stan because now that Stan's here, we'll talk more about Stan here in just a moment. Because Stan is in the chat. Oh, it gets worse. So the reason this is so funny is like I was going to talk about this next story, like this next article last week because I thought this was so fucking ridiculous, and then the Jeopardy thing dropped in the same vein. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like this is literally like a fucking epidemic right now. It's insane. He apologizes, of course. The unwanted negative attention that has come to Jeopardy. Like, literally anybody at all can never have a history. Everyone has to be robots. Everyone has to, like, not have had any fucking instance whatsoever of being in the public spotlight at all ever if you want any sort of high-profile job. And so, the other thing that I wanted to talk about in regards to this vein today. For the sports heads out there that may, or the people that don't watch sports that may not understand what the hell this is. So there was a goalie coach. So this is not even the main team. This keep in mind, this is not even the Toronto Maple Leafs main NHL team. This is their farm team, the Toronto Marlies. So the Toronto Marlies hired a goaltending coach, not a player, not a head coach, a goaltending coach. Okay? And I don't know where these people come from. Somebody crawled out of the fucking woodwork and pointed out that Dusty Imu, who is apparently a Japanese Canadian, so he is a POC. They will not be hiring him. They fired him before he was getting the job, and they terminated talks because he liked a tweet. Because he liked a tweet. I am not kidding you. We're going to go over this. This is the stupid fucking statement that they posted too, by the way. This is how fucking completely off the rails we are as a society. So he says, Dusty will not be joining the Toronto Marlies. We made a mistake by not thoroughly following our organization protocols when considering this candidate for the position of goaltending coach for the Toronto Marlies. What the fuck? How many fucking public statements is a goaltending coach going to make? What the fucking Christ does it matter what the hell a goaltending coach of a farm team says on social media? What does that have to do with his job of coaching goaltenders in a farm team, in an AHL affiliate? Please explain this to me. I don't understand this. So, this is driving me insane. The organization faced backlash after their initial announcement of his hiring, with many fans pointing to his controversial social media history. Who the fuck are these people? Who the fuck are these people that are literally sitting on everything and being like, nope, they said something bad on social media. Nope, can't hire them. Can't hire them. Like, are you fucking mental? He was a Los Angeles Kings goaltending coach. So, like, he was a goaltending coach for a very, very successful goaltending team. A very successful goaltending team, by the way. Some of the most historical, like, best goaltending has come out of that team under his coaching. So the organization faced backlash, blah, blah, blah. He had previously favored this. The former Los Angeles Kings goaltending coach had previously favorited and retweeted a number of tweets featuring blatantly discriminatory rhetoric. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? He liked and retweeted things. He didn't even say anything. He didn't even tweet anything. He liked and retweeted things. There was a man in Australia who was arrested because his wife turned him in for having a different opinion than the government over COVID-19. Jesus fucking Christ. I am so glad I don't live in Australia. I'm going to talk about that too. Fucking how dating is impossible in 2021. How marriage is impossible in 2021. What a fucking joke. As well as others supporting the January 6th attack on the imagine being fucking terminated over your moral beliefs. So he was supporting the protest at the state capitol, and he had anti-vaccine sentiment. He got fucking terminated over that. Unfucking believable. They don't even say what he said. They don't even say what the tweets were. Notice that, by the way. They just blanket say that he retweeted a number of tweets featuring quote unquote blatantly discriminatory rhetoric and blah blah blah. Like, they don't say what it is. Like, did he literally retweet a picture of Hitler and say, like, Zig Heil? Is that what he did? I don't know. What is quote unquote blatantly discriminatory? Because that could literally be anything at this point. Literally could be anything at this point. It's a nice thing of it being retired. You consult from time to time, but if someone decides they don't like your history, you just go back out and play with the bees. Hey, that's a fucking great time. It's not just enough to say that I'm not racist. We have to be doing more openly to help the BIPOC communities. Really, anybody in our lives, in our community that faces any type of system. This is coming from a person of color, by the way. He is Japanese. He is Japanese Canadian. And they're fucking coming out and hammering him down. Dubis is saying he stopped short of saying person of color because he realized mid-sentence that Dusty is a fucking person of color. And he's slamming him for being racist. Are you fucking kidding me right now? The fucking clowns running the asylum right now. Absolutely degenerate. This is the shit that I wanted to talk about last week, because this is This is a fucking national sports team acting like a fucking clown circus. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. The dude was a fucking Japanese Canadian. And they fired him over quote unquote racism. Fuck off. Like, fuck straight off, please. Good Lord. It's not enough. It's not enough that, you know, we have to like delete people for saying something 10 fucking years ago. Now we have to delete people for liking and retweeting things. Liking tweets and retweeting things. Now we have to go through their fucking Twitter history and look at all of their liked posts to see if they're qualified enough to do the... What the fuck does your Twitter have to do with your job? Unless your job is Twitter, like, unless your job is like social media management, what the fuck does your social media have to do with your fucking job? Like going in and being a goaltending coach, or going in and being a plumber, or going in and being like the host of a fucking TV show. What the hell does that have to do with anything of what you're actually doing? Like, imagine losing your fucking career as a carpenter because you liked a Trump tweet. That's where we're heading right now. They have some woke employees in that organization. Absolutely. It's Toronto. It's a fucking disease. It's a fucking disease in that city. Absolutely insane. Absolutely in-fucking sane. Someone needs to put them back to sleep, seriously. Like, it's nuts. It's literally fucking nuts. Now, I gotta ask you guys something. Let me pull something up here. I want to get your opinion. I want to get Drexel's opinion on this, but I want to get your opinion too. I want to get your opinion on this. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. So, dating in 2021. Can't trace the likes for Trump tweets anymore since he got yeeted. Well, people are doing it. People have everything archived now. If you like a fucking Trump tweet, look out. You're fucking done. You're literally fucking deleted off the face of the planet now. Hold on, I gotta capture this window here. I have to ask you guys something. There it is. How many people in the chat or in the audience, and if you're watching this later, you can just comment in the comment section. How many people in the chat and watching this video are still on the dating scene? I'm curious. Because I haven't dated in a long time. Like, I have willfully taken myself out of the dating pool for a very long time because people are absolutely insane. But I'm curious, what does the dating scene look like in 2021? Because I look at this came across my Twitter feed. And this guy is a fucking Sigma simp. Let me tell you, the guy that was commenting on, like, originally put this on the internet. He's a Sigma simp because he's like, oh, I totally understand and I respect her opinion, blah, 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 blah. So the situation here that I'll preface for this text message conversation was that the guy matched with a girl on Tinder, okay? Reputable dating site, Tinder. The guy matched with a girl on Tinder and asked if she wanted to go out for dinner, and she said yes. And this was the text messages before they went out for dinner. So she asked him via text where they were going, and he said, oh, we're going to go to like this little place. It's like one of my favorite places, blah, 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 blah. Hello, Randy. Hello, Samantha. How are you doing? Hello, Morpheus. Good to see you all. So he's like, "Oh, we're gonna go to this place, blah blah blah." It's not too pricey, but it's not cheap either. It's a nice place. And she said, "Oh, well, who's going to be paying?" And so he replied back, "Well, we were just going to pay for our own. Like, I'm going to pay for mine, you can pay for yours." And this is what she came back with. To be honest, I will not be going out with you. I find it rude to ask someone to an expensive restaurant that you expect them to pay for. And then he replied back, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I have always split checks 50-50 on first dates. All right, thank you for letting me know. Have a nice weekend." And she comes back, "Yeah, to be honest, I'm not in the 50-50 camp. I think people should pay proportionately to what they make. In that case, I would be paying, which is why I didn't ask you out to dinner. Good luck." So she literally says, "I make more than you, so that's why I didn't ask you out for dinner, because I didn't want to pay." Is this what dating is like in 2021 right now? Dating scene is that, or the part where everyone starts asking ASL? Oh my god, I remember those days. ASL? 12F? CA? Lol. So the guy that posted this defended her response here. I totally understand. I respect this. like here's the thing, folks. What the fuck is wrong with people now? The entitlement. Like, this is, again, like, I haven't dated in like fucking years by my own choice, because I literally, full stop, I'm selfish. I am a selfish fucking person. Shocker, I know. Hello, Edgy Bobby. I'm a selfish fucking person. Okay. I don't like to carve out my time for other people, because most of the time I'm left disappointed, or it's a waste of my time. I am much more, and I'm going to sound like a megalomaniac here, but in today's day and age, I am much more entertaining company for myself than anybody else is. Welcome to the stream, Bobby. You're not on the dating scene, but there's a channel called Strong Successful Male, and there are stories like this where he tells you all the time. He gets off of Reddit. It's fucking insane. Like, I literally didn't even know this is a thing. Now I know that Drexel has talked about it before, where there are women that go on Tinder, and I've heard friends talk about it too, where they just go on Tinder because they were hungry and they want to go on get dinner. And so they go on Tinder, they agree to a dinner date, and they get taken out for dinner, and they never call the dude back because they didn't have any intent of dating him. They just wanted him to pay for their dinner because they were broke. I've heard of this before, but this whole like pay proportionately thing bullshit. Like, you're going on a first date. Do you want to make a good impression on the person? Do you want to go to McDonald's and show that you're a fucking cheap ass? Or do you want to go to like some middle restaurant, like a sit down restaurant, and have a conversation and have like a good meal? Maybe I'm too old school, but like, going out for like coffee is a good, not necessarily the cheapest coffee place, but just go out for coffee, grab a fucking coffee, like $5 or $6. Boom, done. Show some investment in the person. Something. Maybe don't go out for the fucking $100 restaurant unless you're a high roller or you want to flash your fucking stacks of cash. But like, it blows my mind that this is what dating has devolved to in 2021. The guy on Strong Successful Male says he always does drinks and that's it on the first date. Honestly, my ideal first date is to go to a coffee shop or like a bubble tea place. Because if you do like a sit down meal, you don't really have time for you don't really have a conversation, right? You're just eating the entire time. You don't go out for a movie date first because you're watching a movie the entire time. You go out for coffee. It's nice because you can have a coffee, you can grab a cookie, you can grab a croissant, you can just have something super light that you're not forced to eat right away, and you can just have a conversation with the person to get to know them. I like going for coffee because that gives you the option to either, bubble tea, boba tea. You get the option to just sit down, be casual, have a conversation with the person, and it doesn't end up being $50 or $60. Because here's the thing, right? You have the option to pick up the tab for that person. Or if you don't like that person, hello Zero, how you doing? Or if you don't like that person, then you have the option to not pick up the tab for them. That's an indicator for me, right? That's an indicator for me. If I'm going out on a date with somebody, and it's a coffee date, and I want to, and I meet the person, I'm like, oh, that person's really cute, and we have a conversation. Oh, I really like that person. Cool. I'll pick up the tab. No problem. I'll pick up the tab. Or they'll pick up the tab for me, and we'll have a fight over who's going to pay for it. To signify to each other that we're interested in continuing this relationship, right? It's like a fucking $10 tab as opposed to $200. Which, I mean, fine, cool. Me on Grindr wanting to go on a date gets requests for orgies. I hate online dating. Hey Zero, how you doing? Board games, you learn so much about a person. Board games are good too. Your board game cafes, that's fun. But I don't know what the hell this is on the screen right now. I don't know what the hell this is. Fucking saying that, oh, I make more than you, so I didn't ask you out for dinner. What the fuck ego is that? What the fuck is that? Jesus Christ, dude. Blows my mind. I'm happily doing my own thing. Don't get me wrong. I don't even have a fucking inch of fucking want to go out and date people right now because of this type of shit right here. I'm a selfish person. And to cut out time of my life, because I work 40 hours a week when I can work when I'm not physically ill because of my medication. I work 40 hours a week. The time off that I have is precious because I spend time with you guys. I spend time on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Crumbrion, by the way. I spend time on Twitch. I do this because I enjoy it. And to take time away to go and date somebody or go and see somebody, it's gotta outweigh the benefits of what I'm doing already, right? The companionship, I don't care about the companionship, to be honest. Because I am great company by myself, to myself. So the companionship would have to overshadow what I already give to myself. Self-promo, how dare I? Kappa. Third wave feminism, that's what it is, and you never know what it's going to be. Well, it's like fucking Duckman in 1990s. Duckman had it correctly. Pointing out and laughing at the feminism that was prevalent in the 1990s, which everyone fucking laughed at and pushed out and ignored, and now it's back again. Now it's back, and it's ridiculous. You didn't miss much, Milo. Hello, Milo. How you doing? But yeah, I'm on a bunch of websites. I'm sure you can find me. I don't care. I'm on a bunch of websites. And I can't find a single person. Because number one rule, I don't date anybody from Toronto. No. Fucking, if you're from Toronto, I'm sorry. I don't care if you're Scarlett Johansson. If you're from Toronto, it's not happening. I don't care if you're fucking Matt Damon. If you're from Toronto, not happening. Sorry. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Because I don't date anybody from Toronto at all. Toronto is like the Derry of Ontario. Like, if you live in Toronto, something fucking happens to your brain while you're in Toronto. And it's like, if you don't live in Toronto, like if you live in Toronto and you move out, and it slowly starts to seep out. It slowly starts to go away. But if you live in Toronto, if you go back to Toronto, you're just a complete fucking lunatic. Instead of MGTOW, what will we label your circumstance? Trantau. Or maybe WigTow. What does Toronto have to do with anything? Okay, I'll tell you, Michael. I will tell you, Michael. This is true with 100% of people in Toronto, by the way. This is by experience. This is not hyperbole. This is experience. Hello, Jack. Hello, Savage. The second you saw that, your mind fell apart. This is 100% of my interactions with people from Toronto. Every single fucking time, okay? I live literally 45 minutes away from Toronto. So, like, if someone was to drive, it would be like a 45-minute drive. It'd be like an hour bus ride for me. Just literally the same distance, okay? Very, very quick. Number one, they never want to leave Toronto. They will never visit you. They will never take time out of their schedule to come and see you. They will never leave Toronto. 100% of the time. They will agree to, they'll say, oh yeah, I'll definitely come to insert city here and visit you. And then when it comes up to like, can you just come here? It's easier. There's more stuff to do here. There's this, there's that. Can you just come here? So they will never visit you, number one. They will never leave Toronto. Number two, they will never leave their house. Ever. Anytime that you want to go and see them, they're like, you could always come here, and like, we have so much stuff to do here. We can go here, we can go to the mall, we can go to this, we can go to that, we can do blah, 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 blah. And then you go there, and then they never want to do anything. You get to their house, I've already been to the CN Tower like 1,000 times. I've already been to like the mall like 1,000 times. I don't really want to do anything. Let's just hang out here. They'll never leave their house. They don't want to go to the park. They don't want to go anywhere. They don't want to do anything. And number three, they're always looking for something else. They're always looking for something else. So like, because it's Toronto, there's so many options. So if you live in a different city, while it's great, they're always going to have 2 or 3 people on the side. Which I'm polyamorous, so that's fine, but they're dishonest about it. They don't like asking permission, they just go off and do. And you're a piece that they just don't care about, they forget about because you're not in Toronto. Can you blame them outside of Toronto? Are man-eating bears in frozen wastelands? It's very true. You're not wrong, Jack. You're not wrong, Jack. Who got canceled? So there's a couple people that got canceled. The new host of Jeopardy. Hello, Spidey. The new host of Jeopardy got yeeted because of a show that he did, a cringe show that he did fucking 10 years ago. And the goaltending coach for the Toronto Marlies got canceled because he liked and retweeted things. It's amazing. It's amazing. Exactly. Shopping malls, who needs that? So like, people from Toronto literally just don't do anything. They don't do anything for you. They expect you to come to them all the time. They expect you to be there on their whim, and they don't reciprocate at all, ever. Period. I am describing literally every person from Toronto in the dating scene ever. One chick from Big Bang Theory also get canceled from Jeopardy. That would be surprising. That's funny. Yeah, they forget about you until they lose their job, and yeah, exactly, and then they need money. That's the other thing too. It's like they only contact you when they want something. And this is like, I know it happens a lot in most relationships, but this is 100% true all the time in every fucking dating scene in Toronto. They will only contact you when they want something from you. That's it. That's it. Because people in Toronto have so many options. They love to go out, do whatever they want on a whim. But when it's like trying to, and they always change their fucking, they always change the plans. You could have plans to go out to a club. Like, oh, we'll go out to this club. We'll go have fun. You get there and like, oh, I don't really feel like it. Like, you literally take time out of your schedule to go and visit them and displace yourself. And then they're just like, yeah, I just don't feel it. We need to stay in tonight. We're not talking about going down the street. We're talking about going to a different city for these people. And 100% of the time they do this. 100% of the time. So that's why I refuse to date anyone in Toronto. Dated a chick once, wonder if she was originally from Toronto. It's so weird because it's like you could have the nicest person at all. Like you could take Lady Rackets, for example. You could take Lady Rackets, you transplant her into Toronto, and she will become a Torontonian. She'll become the worst fucking person on the face of the planet. It happens to everybody. It happens to everybody. I don't know what it is about that city, but like there's some sort of like fucking curse on that city that turns people into like fucking diseased, riddled, raving fucking SJW lunatics. There's something about it. And it's worse I don't know if it's a city thing. It's worse when you're like in the epicenter of it. It gradually gets better as you go out away from the GTA. It's maybe something in the water. It must be. They must have like a high concentration of lead or something. I don't know. It literally transforms people into mutants. Exactly. They get too comfortable and they don't want to do anything for anyone or do anything at all for period. They just get super comfortable. So that's why I absolutely refuse. I don't care if it's the hottest fucking person at all. Because I've had plenty of extremely hot fucking people contact me. I see they're from Toronto. No. Instant turnoff. Instant turnoff. Because I'm selfish. Like, I'm a selfish person, and these people are like the fucking nth degree of selfish. The nth degree of selfish. Everyone has to come to them. Everyone has to go to them on their schedule. Everyone has to snap fucking change schedules to accommodate them. It's absolutely insane. And like the thing is because it is Toronto, they have so many options. They don't care, right? Like they don't care. Even if you're smoking fucking hot. If you're an hour away from them, you don't exist. You know, it's bad when a selfish person calls you selfish. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Damn right, Tom. Remember to smash that like button. Smash that subscription button. Or whatever the hell it's called. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Give a little updoodle. But no, 100%. Like, I avoid Toronto like the plague because they are all fucking egocentric psychopaths. Egocentric psychopaths. So I avoid that shit like the plague. If you're going to Toronto, realize that it is just for smashing, and that is it. Realize that if you're entering Toronto for a relationship, that you have to take the Drexel approach. Just smash and pass. That's it. Because there is no long term. Toronto sounds like Dallas, Texas. Hello, Adifos. It probably is. It probably very much is. Because you talk about the major metro in like any sort of area, and that's what these people are fucking like. Toronto is a smite kid land. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat, Kyle. Maybe we can talk Ricky Gervais onto Cameo so that he can excoriate some of these people, starting with a couple people I know. That would be amazing. I would love to have Ricky Gervais on Cameo, so you can just like pay him to roast people. Pay him to fucking just talk shit about people. That'd be hilarious. But like I'm so glad that I didn't grow up in Toronto. I was born in and around there. The place that I was born isn't called what it is now, but I moved out of Toronto when I was little, and I basically grew up most of my adult life here in Kitchener. So I am very grateful to have grown up in a city that is not a fucking festering, pompous zit on the face of the earth. And I used to love Toronto. Don't get me wrong; it's a beautiful city. You know, it's big, it's fun. You can do things there, but the people there are like smite kids. The people there are like lunatics. They are absolutely lunatics. People that live in Dallas literally act like they appear to be millionaires and shit. Everything's bigger in Texas, so everyone has to have something bigger and better than theirs. Yeah. The funny part is like no one can live in Toronto because it's so fucking expensive. Like bachelor apartments in Toronto cost $1,500, and that's cheap. Studio apartments cost $1,500, like literal shoeboxes. You can't live in Toronto because it's so fucking expensive. But everyone acts like they're big hoity-toity when they're there, and they have no money to do anything because all of the 100% of their fucking income is going into the rent. Putting on headphones and getting to work while listening to Crumb. Thank you so much, Savage. They're insane. You work for Dallas. Notice you won't live there. Yeah, I won't. I won't live in Toronto. Kitchener Waterloo is nice and big. It's nice and big. Appleseed Ex Machina, nice. I have Appleseed, actually. I was looking for my copy of Paper Mario, and I found my Appleseed and my Macross. That was pretty cool. Zippy Art. Everything you said up to this point is why you only go to TO for the city experience. That's it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Same thing here. It's literally it. Like, I get the city experience living here in Kitchener Waterloo because it's fairly big and like you have 3 cities to just travel through. So it's kind of like a Toronto light, and you don't have the egos here. Like you have a lot of like farm country and a lot of that farm influence here in Kitchener Waterloo, which is really, really nice. And you don't have the fucking wall-to-wall business bullshit and like the constant egos and all that shit. I mean, the nightlife here is weird. I will say that. The nightlife here in Kitchener Waterloo is still weird. Nice to visit, but you don't want to stay there or live there. It's 100% true. It's nice to visit Toronto. It's very much a tourist destination. Go there, enjoy the things that are there, but just don't live there. Don't live there because that city fucking changes you. It changes you for the wrong things. It's a fucking terrible place. Which is why I say all the fucking bad cosplayers come out of Toronto. Because they act like they're from fucking Hollywood. They act like they're from New York. Like, you are literal nobodies. You are literal who's in a sea of literal who's. Who act like you have some like sort of big dick thing when you don't. You don't at all. Lala cunt play. Exactly, Milo. Must be something in the water. It must be something. It has to be something. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but like, Jesus Christ. That city is out fucking ranges, which is why it led me to wanting to do my own conventions, right? Because I didn't want to go to conventions in Toronto anymore. I didn't want to travel. To go and be fucking peanut gallery to the second fiddles. I wanted to create my own event, to have people, literal who's in a sea of literal who's pretending to be who exactly, Kyle. Pretending, like, literal who's stealing other people's intellectual property and trying to get famous off of it. Which, number one, that's why I'm never going to have cosplay guests ever again. Because I learned that fucking lesson. I literally took the opportunity to elevate cosplayers as guests, give them their first guest experience at a convention, and then I got nothing but fucking complaints. So, congratulations, Toronto cosplay community. You played yourself. Not happening again. I don't care. Your marketing did fuck all for Kitchener Comic-Con, by the way. Your marketing, your advertising, which was next to nothing, brought nobody in. Nobody cared. Nobody cared about someone walking around in a papier-mâché Iron Man costume. It's straight up. People were there for the vendors. People were there for the cool shit that they could buy. People were there for the cool people and celebrities they could see. They weren't there to see you. Which is why y'all were sitting up on the fucking balcony glowering at people and pissed off because no one went up there to see you because you did nothing to bring them up there. So I will not make the same mistake and donate money to you via tables and table space in future events. So, cheers. Lesson learned. The boob TV there is hypnotizing them to be terrible people. It's true. That's very true, Toyman. Very true, Stan. But that brings me extensive cleavage. Get you so far. That brings me to my quote unquote big announcement. We're about an hour into the show. To my big announcement / teaser. Now, I will preface this by saying there's nothing concrete. I'm looking over all of my options. Someone needs to get slapped with a Knuckleheads flip-flop. Exactly. I gotta whip that out. Like 0. Bring back booth babes instead of cosplay thoughts. It's not a bad idea. At least these people understand what their role is. At least they understand that they're supposed to stand there and look pretty and not stand there and market themselves and beg for fucking birthday appearances. Is this where we call me a tease? Absolutely. Absolutely. So, again, I'm going to talk a bit about this. I'm going to talk a bit about the plans I have for this. However, again, I'm going to preface this by saying I don't have anything concrete. Like Renfamous, exactly. I don't have anything concrete in stone. However, I am filing a trademark. So, this will be trademarked. Because I'm pretty goddamn sure that nothing else like this exists out there. But it's in the process of being filed for the trademark, so I'm going to talk about it. I don't have... this all really revolves around how far we are in the COVID. Right now, we don't really have any sort of thing. So I'm not going to be planning anything for this year. Likely not going to be planning anything for next year. I have to secure some funds. I have to do some research on how much certain things take to rent out, etc. But, drum roll, please. I need to get your guys' feedback on this. I want to get your guys' feedback on it because this is going to be a big undertaking for myself. And I want to make sure that I'm doing things the correct way here. So, for the first time, I'm going to reveal this publicly. Boom. I'm currently in the planning stages of a festival event that I'm going to be naming Kitchener Fanfare Comic and Fan Festival. Kitchener Fanfare. So I finished the logo. I'm going to be I'm in the process of trademarking the title and the term. My idea for this right now is I'm going to be selling about 20 vendor spaces. So that's going to be 20 vendor spots. So that would give me a decent pool to rent and rent out a space. And we're going to go from there. So my thoughts are, because all the COVID-19 nonsense and blah, 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 this will likely be an outdoor event to start. Will likely be an outdoor event. What's your idea of GriftCon? File the rights before Crest. It's too late. Too late. But I'm looking at potentially having an outdoor event. I'm trying to find hidden messages in the background. It's likely going to be an outdoor event because in all honesty, with the current state of things, I could likely hold an outdoor event next year with the COVID-19 restrictions and have a decent sized event. But I don't have a date set. I don't have anything in stone yet. This is all pre-planning. But I wanted to get your guys' opinion on things. So this is likely going to be an outdoor event. It's likely going to have roughly upwards of 20 vendors. Depends on how much size I can get for the price. And I'm looking at having food vendors there as well. Yeah. It's like barbecue, like fair style food, right? Fair, like state fair food. So you're going to have like the funnel cakes, the lemonade stands, the blah, 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 right? So I want to look at that and see what I have to do to get that in there. And what I have to collaborate to get that in there. And I would like to have a stage. To have performances. So either guests, comedians, something like that, blah, blah, blah. So, again, all pre-planning. I would love if anyone had suggestions that they would like to see within realistic standards. That would be great. I would love to bring Vic. I would honestly love to bring Vic, but it all comes down to budget. So I have to look into what bursaries I can get, what grants I can get, etc. I know what I can get flat cost for the vendor spaces. I just need to find investors. That would be amazing if I could find investors, but this is, again, all pre-planning. However, I have an idea. I have a vision in place for what I'd like to have done. Yeah, real lemonade stands 2-0. People like actually crushing lemons and making shit like that. Will you admit that you grifted the concept? It would really help my case if you did. Exactly, Tom. Exactly. What type of comic creators will you be bringing? I would be looking at like the independent comic shops. They could bring out. They could bring that out. The other thing that I would want to. The other thing that I want to tie into this. Is have a free comic book aspect to it, right? So you come to the fair, you come to the festival. You know any con sluts? You come to the festival, and there's going to be an area that you just go up and you can pick a free comic book, or you can take a couple of free comic books. Because like there's places that I know that I can go and get like thousands of comic books for dirt cheap, and have them ready for giveaways. But that's the idea. Have it a free comic book weekend, like a free comic book day, a free comic book weekend. Make it a festival. Make it a fan festival. And so, like, in terms of like who I'm going to have there, they're going to be people that have like small indie shops, right? Like I'm going to reach out to the indie shops, the people that have independently owned like fan stores, collectible shops, things like that, right? The big hitters, the things that you can't find anywhere. Get them that would come like all together. So like I know a few vendors. I'm hoping to have upwards of 20 stores, 20 vendors. Could be bigger depending on the space that I can get. If I can rent out the Victoria Park and get tents set up, I have to figure out how much all that's going to cost. But if I can get in contact with certain groups and see what it's going to take to get that set up and doing, it's going to be one hell of a fucking festival, because you're going to have ribs. If I can work it out, you're going to have beer. You're going to have comic books. You're going to have live entertainment. You're going to have vendors. I want it to be a full festival fan fair event. So it's going to be fun. It'd be easy enough to set up the area, because that we do like the Ribbon Beer Festival every so often. Not now because of COVID, but before they would give you like a little wristband saying that you could drink beer, and then you could drink beer in the designated area. And so I'm hoping that I can connect up with a group that has those things in place, and we can get that done, because it's been done in Victoria Park a million times. So we can get that set up. We can get live music in. We can get some local bands in. We can get some international guests in. And we can have a nice weekend. So I'm going to look at all my options for it. This is my plan. This is the way that I'm looking at it on building this. So again, I don't have anything 100% in stone yet, because there's a lot of stuff that I have to set up and plan for and reach out for. Would I want to try to get Steve Bloom for your event? I want people... So here's the thing. Here is the thing. Number one, I want guests for the show that want to be at the show. Number one. I don't want to pay someone to be there who doesn't want to be there. That is number one. Number two, I want people there that the fans want there. So those are two huge factors. I'm not going to go crazy and have 1 million people. Because I have to work within a budget. But I want people that are willing to be there, that are willing to be outside, or, you know, or at least, you know, if I can find an indoor venue, that would be amazing. But having an indoor venue in the middle of the COVID pandemic is just not really a great idea, because it limits how many people can be there. Having an outdoor event is much more plausible and much more lucrative for the vendors, for the guests, etc. So I think I want to have an outdoor event and make this an outdoor event. Stop my life to tweet at you playing at random times. You know it. The fresh lemonade stands convince you to go. You'd love to attend. Definitely not because of the fresh lemonades. But I want to reach out. I also want to reach out to the locals, right? Because we have fantastic like local artists. We have fantastic local businesses, and we can bring them all in from the surrounding areas, and all that stuff. But yeah, I would love to get all of this set up. Planning case of rain. You know, that's what I have to do with the city. I'd have to figure out, okay, is there times to like what can we do for this and that? We're going to have like the ideal thing would be that everyone has tarps, or not tarps, like they have like tents, right? Because we have outdoor events here in Kitchener literally all the time. Literally all of the time. And so like they have contingency plans in place, all this stuff. I just have to reach out to the people that set that stuff up and say, okay, how much is it going to take to get all this done? I have a plan. I have all of these things that I can do. I can pull these things into blah, 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 blah. What can we do to get this going? And it wouldn't take a terrible amount to get set up. So, I'd love to have Quentin. I would love to have Vic, honestly. I'd love to have Stan. I'd love to have Nick. I'd love to have EBS. I'd love to have Doug TeNapel, even though Doug doesn't travel. Because he's a jerk. Put that on record. But I would love to have all of these people. The thing is I have to work within the budget. So if I bring in a Quentin, if I bring in a Vic, I might only be able to afford one or two. So I have to look at that. If I'm bringing in like a bunch of live entertainment, like an art bazaar of sorts, kind of, but not really. It's more of like a fair. I'm looking at it like a fair. Bringing in like, the booths, the big booths of vendors. You can walk in and you can do all that stuff. You can buy the clothing. What time of the year? I would probably be looking at late August. Depending on the when I can get it done. But like I'd be aiming for like the warmer season. June, July, August. There might be Morpheus, because we have lots of pop-up cannabis shops. So I mean, there might be those. I don't know. The whole thing is we want to tailor, like I want to tailor this event to people who love comic books, people who love superheroes, people who love anime. And if that means bringing in like G Fuel, if that means bringing in cannabis shops, if that means like bringing in, gotta go. Thank you so much for hanging out, Kyle. I appreciate it. Food, yes, food, big time, is a big driver. I would love to have the craft beer come on in and have like a few of the craft beer places do samples. I would love to have like a beer tent so people can buy ribs, they can get beer, they can sit down, they can eat, they can read comic books. Late August is really hot. But September is historically very wet. So historically September is very rainy. But like ideally I would love to have the event in September. That would be my perfect time. But I have to look at what the weather's going to be like. Oh, there's lots of food. Like lots of food trucks. Tons of food trucks in this area. Tons and tons. So like we have really good food trucks too. We have really good food trucks. So we'd have like food trucks. We would have like funnel cake places, dessert places. We'd have like fresh squeezed lemonade places. We'd have all sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff ideally. And then we'd have the vendors. We'd have all sorts of really cool things to go and look at all the vendors for. Et cetera, et cetera. Because you can get really cool collectible stuff. We'll have some comic book stores. We'll have some collectible stores. Just work out all that, and you'll need and want and put a number on it and figure out who to approach. Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, there'd be a poutine truck. Absolutely, there'd be a poutine truck. There'd be ice cream trucks. There'll be slushy trucks. All that stuff. It would basically be like a vendor and like sandwiched in between like food places. It'd be so good. It'd be so good. Yeah, like, I know how much I could charge per booth spot, which would be criminally undercharging it. I would be criminally undercharging for booth space. Just a number, folks out there. How much would you pay? How much would you pay for a booth spot at Fanfare? Like I don't know. I don't know what the size would be. Like it would at least be 12 feet. Like 12 feet wide. It would at least be 12 feet. I would think one day. To start, one day. Because I don't want to stretch it out too much. I would do it on a Saturday. But ideally, I would like to do it 3 days, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but Saturday to start, because I want to test it out. I want to see what the market's like and how much it would be. But if you can split the difference, be 2 days. How much would you pay for 2 days for booth space at an event of what I'm describing? What about daiquiri? Obviously, people would want to see me too, the mastermind behind the whole event. I'd be there. I would be there. $300 US if you had stuff to sell. Yeah, you would. How long hours wise? It would probably go from like 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. Generally. So you can set up at like 8 o'clock. Officially opens at like say 10 or 11. Maybe 11 to 6, or 11 to 6 would be the official hours. Give people time to set up and whatever else. A 2-day event would be a good starting point to get people to test to feel how it goes. Yeah, probably. It depends on how much everything costs, right? Because the cost doubles at that point. So you say $300 to $400. Hello, Gav. What's the topic for today? We're kind of all over the place. We talked a little bit about the Jeopardy situation. It'd be about $400 for 2 days, depending on size purpose. Okay, so that's that. And you guys are talking U.S. dollars. You guys are talking U.S. dollars. $300. What if I told you? I had planned to start the early bird vendor booths at $150. USD for your answer? If I rock bottom price opened up the if I opened up the vendor booth pricing as an early bird special for $150. I guess you're gonna say that. Well, that's the thing, Michael, is I wouldn't be doing it myself. I wouldn't be facilitating that portion of it myself. There are groups in this area that have that on lockdown. Yeah, LEZ. $150 Canadian. So I would just reach out to them and say, hey, what would how much would it take for you guys to come out and set up like the liquor portion of this event? We can collaborate, blah blah blah. What would it take for that? Yeah, this is my own con, Gav. I'm teasing it right now. I'm trademarking this. I'm in the process of trademarking this right now. I'm just planning and just kind of base planning and teasing what my idea for this convention is. I don't have any dates. I don't have anything. And the entry fee, so here's the best part, folks. The entry fee for fanfare would be $0. $0. And so what I would do, I would reach out to the group that handles all of the liquor setup and whatever else, because they have things where they can reach out, they can bring in craft beers, everything else like that. They can do all that fun stuff. And then they would set up an exclusive area where they would be selling the bands, right? They'd be selling like $10 or whatever to get all you can drink, and you can purchase or whatever. Like you get 5 tickets or whatever. They do like a ticket system, like a token system. You know, blah blah blah. They do like a token system, so like they charge for beers and then they work that out with the vendors. But like that's all them, and I can tell them like, you guys can keep all the money from that. You guys keep all the money from that. You come in and do your thing, and that's our deal. That's what I'm going to approach them with. I don't know if they're going to take it or not, but I think it's a good deal because they can just make money straight off of alcohol. We get the food truck vendors in. They can make as much money as they want on their fucking food. How much would your booth cost a month away from the show date? Depends on space and depends on demand. I would think it would probably double. I mean, I don't know. It would also depend on how much like we need in terms of squeeze. In terms of squeeze room, but I would think probably like maybe 250, maybe 300 at most. Depends on demand, though, in my opinion. At least a bouncy castle. There could very well could be a bouncy castle because those things are super cheap to rent from companies too. But that's what I think. The entry fee was your left hand. Yeah. No. $0 entry fee. People can just come in and do what they want. We'll have free comic books to give away. We'll have a free comic book day booth or whatever, like in the center, and then people can come and pick a comic book that they want, and they can go in and buy beer. They can go and buy ribs. This is the ideal scenario of what I have planned. This is nothing concrete, by the way. This is the ideal scenario, but it's very realistic. It's very, very realistic. How long would a plane take to get from Kitchener to New York or Massachusetts? Not very long, actually. It was a 45-minute flight from Toronto to Asheville, South Carolina. So I would think probably 20 minutes from New York to Toronto. You can take a jet. Dunkaron dunk tank. There could very well be a dunk tank too. I mean, there will be like what I would love to have would be like a midway. I'd love to have a midway where we have like carnival games. People can play carnival games. People can sit in for live concerts, or like, you know, they can sit in for live entertainment, whether that's concerts or comics, like comic artists, whatever. Like, you know, people like telling jokes and shit. Or if it's live music, or if it's, you know, entertainers. Didn't we bomb Midway? And I would love to have an outdoor arcade. But I mean, like, that's, again, all of these things are dream things, right? If I could have a literal, like, enclosed space to have a bunch of arcade machines, be fantastic. Yeah, improv. Absolutely. Absolutely, Randy. I could bring like half of the alternate comic creators to Kitchener. I don't know, Gav. I don't know. It really depends on a lot of factors. Money is a huge factor. Availability is a huge factor. Because I don't know if the space that I'm hoping to get is available for whatever weekend or if they're even renting it out right now. So I don't know. This is all pre-talk. But this is what I'm hoping. I'm telling you guys a dream scenario of what I hope to have this event be. And there's a lot of resources in the city that I can reach out to make all of this happen. So it's very, very realistic. It's realistic to have food there. It's realistic to have alcohol there. It's realistic to do all of these things because it can be a collaboration between a bunch of groups, right? Because they could make this event, like they could do their events. We do have a 501st. They're not very hospitable, unfortunately. Our local is not very flexible. They're kind of dicks. I know the 501st as a whole are pretty good. Like, they're pretty nice. Yeah. So that's my thoughts. Hoping to have a bunch of vendors, hoping to have some carnival games, hoping to have some food, hoping to have some beverages, hoping to have some entertainment. And there you go. Hoping to make it a nice event where people can come out and have fun. All of that wonderful stuff. Nerds who aren't flexible, what exactly? So, fingers crossed that we can get this off the ground. Again, it's in the infant stages of planning. It's in the infant stages of everything. I need to secure a bunch of stuff, but I just wanted you guys' feedback to see from the fans' perspective, from the people who would be attending it, your perspective, what your thoughts were, so I could then take that information and go to potential investors, go to potential businesses, go to potential vendors, and be like, hey, there's a lot of people that would really love to see this come together. Let's make it happen. So, because I firmly believe that this region, that Kitchener-Waterloo, can sustain some amazing conventions and events. And I think that the more events and the more conventions that we have in this region, the stronger this region's going to be in terms of draw, in terms of pull. Because there's a lot of people that go to Toronto because that's pretty much the only place to go for events. And I don't think that's right. I think there's a lot of other places that are very viable. I think Kitchener Comic-Con showed the entire Ontario that holding events of that size outside of Toronto is feasible, very viable. You can do it and you can make it successful. So that's my thoughts on it. So I wanted to talk a little bit about another thing that came up. I got an email. Well, I have not my email. This is an interaction between our very own Samantha. I was going to censor Samantha's name out of it, but she has her name all over it, so it kind of would be obvious anyways. Samantha and somebody at Riot Games. I just found out about this yesterday. Oh, Angela, believe me, I would have Vic in a fucking heartbeat. I would have Vic, I would have Quentin, I would have Todd Habercorn, I would have fucking EBS, I would have Nick, I would have everybody in a heartbeat. It literally comes down to budget. If I had infinite money, I would pay all of them to be here. Like, you know that. There's no question in my mind. I would have every single person that I want there. It literally comes down to budget. And if I can't get the budget, then I have to restrict myself on guests, unfortunately. Because I have to make sure that the bills are paid and that we can actually have the space. And I don't want to invite someone and then just not pay them because my name's not Faisal Ahmed. Yeah, I want this to be an annual thing. I want this to be something that I can build up. That's the thing though, like Angela, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to lean on Vic and leverage my friendship with him for something that I can profit off of. You know, like that. It's like, I want to pay him because he deserves to be paid. I want to pay him because he deserves the money, right? Because like I could do certain things like get him a guarantee and guarantee him like $3,000, and if he doesn't make the $3,000, I can pay the difference. I could do stuff like that, but like I don't expect him to show up for free. I would never expect him to show up for free. He deserves to be paid for his time. He deserves to be compensated for his time. And like he 100% sign for signatures and sell his merch. 100%. You may consider the drive from Ottawa if this event works out. Sounds amazing so far. I'm really, really, really hoping it comes together. there's another, again, there's a lot of stuff I have to reach out to. I can't do it right now because we're literally in the grips of COVID stage 3 in this region. So like no one that I want to reach out to is going to be able to talk about anything because they don't know where we're going to be in 6 months. So I need to wait for the COVID situation to settle down here before I can start making connections with these individuals. Like I'm gonna start reaching out to them and be like, hey, here's my pitch, here's my idea. What do you think? Outdoor events seem to be the things that are going to be able to be ran. I kind of want to see Blues Fest and stuff kick off and see how that goes. Oktoberfest is apparently going to have in-person events this year. So I kind of want to see how that's received before I go all in on this. So it's kind of a wait and see. It might be a year away. It might be 2 years away. Ideally, I could do this next year. Ideally. Like this is something that if I could get everything set up, boom, thrown out there, we can do it next year. But I just don't think that's feasible. I just don't think that's feasible. You can wait for 18 hours running on fumes. It's cool if she is in Tokyo. Yeah. But yeah, I would love to have Vic, but I don't want to. I don't want to be that person and be like, oh, could you come for free? And I don't want to do that to Quentin. Like, it's a really shoddy thing to do. But yeah, because I don't know. Like the only issue is like if this was Kitchener Comic-Con, like I could have physical numbers to put back behind it. This isn't Kitchener Comic-Con though. So I don't have physical numbers that I can put behind and say, I expect this many people to show up and I expect you to be able to make this much money. So it's kind of a crapshoot. I'm certain that if we have an event in the park and it's nice and sunny out and people are going to be there anyways, they're going to show up and they're going to spend money. If we hold it on the right weekend, we hold it on a weekend where people get their checks in at the start of the end of the month, it's going to be a fucking gold mine for people. I know that much. It's just, I need to see some numbers of some other outdoor events that are going to be happening in the next few months before I really sit down and start projecting what this could be. Because this could be a really good fucking event. It could be really, really good. But we got to do it right, so. Yeah. So this is, again, just a teaser of things to come. So I'm sorry if I get people's hopes up on it. This is a teaser of things to come. I really don't want to crowdfund it because I don't have a concrete way of giving things back to people. So like I've looked into Indiegogo, I've looked into Kickstarter, I've looked into GoFundMe. I don't really want to go that route because there's not really anything concrete I can then in turn give back. So, but we'll look at, I'll look at the same sort of like freemium thing that we did with Kitchener Comic-Con for fanfare. Whereas the show is free, you can come in and do stuff for free, you can enjoy everything for free, but if you want certain perks, then you can pay the VIP. We'll talk about OnlyFans in a bit. We'll talk about OnlyFans in a little bit. But yeah, like I don't want to bring in A-listers and then have them just sit there and do nothing either. Because I literally have no information about the post-COVID pandemic festival season. So once I get more information about that, I can make a better educated decision on what would be appropriate to bring in. But I know people in this region are dying to get out and do stuff. I know that, so I know this is going to be a very, very successful event if we do it the correct way. I know it would be a very successful event if we can do it the right way. So, changing gears to the next topic, I got a conversation. Samantha Flynn had reached out to Riot Games because there was a rumor going around, and this is why companies are fucking trash, by the way. This is why companies are absolute fucking dumpster fires, by the way. You have a perk where all staff address you by a long, impressive title all day? Certainly. Absolutely. Riot Games is a dumpster fire. I'm going to say that right now. Because reading over this email exchange or DM exchange, it really, really brought to light how much companies are just a giant pile of fucking garbage. So there was a rumor that one of Quentin's characters in League of Legends was going to be replaced. Voice actor was going to be replaced. Now, this was a very, very popular character. So, Riot didn't just want to change it entirely, right? They didn't want to change how he sounded entirely. So the rumor was, and this rumor came from a leak from an insider at Riot Games. The rumor was that Riot was seeking a voice clone, like a voice twin, someone who sounded exactly like Quentin, to take over for this character. Now, of course, we all know like this is not for virtue signaling, because Riot would have been posting like, you know, everything at all, like, everything regarding, you know, blah 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 blah. This is not about virtue signaling, because they would have done that by now. This is not about virtue signaling. This is about saving money. They want someone who sounds like and who can emulate Quentin, but they don't want the paycheck that goes along with it. So, I'm going to show you an email exchange. Get this off the screen for a minute. I'm going to show you an email exchange. Which one was it? I think it was this one. Here we go. It is an incredibly douchey move. I agree. So this email exchange here is between Samantha and a representative who I hopefully redacted fully, from Riot Games. From Riot Games. We're going to go through it. So Samantha reached out regarding Quentin Flynn and Jin, the virtuoso. So they're looking at replacing Quentin's voice as Jin in League of Legends. They're looking for a quote-unquote voice clone, someone who can sound exactly like Quentin, but is not Quentin. So she says, "Hello there. To preface my message, I've been attempting to find a correct person at Riot Games to get in contact with this, with concerning this matter. I would very much appreciate your help in pointing me to the right direction. I'm Samantha Flynn, the wife and talent manager." Why is this not moving? Okay, that's why. And talent manager of Quentin Flynn, your voice actor for Jin the Virtuoso. I've been informed there are auditions for a sound-alike taking place. I strongly hope that Riot Games will reconsider, as Quentin's passion and talent have assisted in making Jin a favorite champion among League of Legends players. Worldwide, Quentin has been resuming conventions, and I've had the honor of seeing and hearing firsthand the number of dedicated fans Quentin has, especially from his unique and extraordinary work as Jin. Quentin has contributed so much to the character and his legacy. I truly hope that Riot Games will allow Quentin to continue inspiring and captivating players with his work. So we see. Please do not hesitate to contact me anytime with questions or concerns. Thank you for your time. We look forward to hearing from you soon. We hope you're staying safe during these times. So, redacted replies. This is a person within Riot Games. Hello, Samantha. Appreciate you reaching out. Riot is currently on summer break, so give me until Monday to look into things. I may know what this is in regards to, but I would rather check in with the team first before replying. And sends her direct info back. And so Samantha replies August 8th. Appreciate your message. Thank you so much for getting back to me and for the information. I will write you a primary email from my email address, redacted. We'll be in touch. I hope everyone had a lovely vacation. Redacted replies. Hello, Samantha. I ran this up the flagpole and I'm circulating back that to confirm that Riot won't be discussing internal casting decisions further at this time. That was August 10th. So Riot, why won't you talk about it? Why don't you want to talk about it? Seems kind of odd. Seems kind of odd that you don't want information to get out that you're replacing a longtime beloved voice of a longtime beloved character, and that you're doing it with a sound-alike. It is August 21st, yes. And this is her email. And she also had sent out Quentin's statement to Riot, to which Quentin has actually been trying to contact Riot Games, and they've been ignoring him, from my understanding. His contacts at Riot have not been talking to him at all. So here we have Quentin's own statement to Riot Games. Quentin says, to Riot Games, I am reaching out in regards to the controversy that surrounded my name beginning in November of 2020. Now, keep in mind, Samantha had sent all of the information regarding the updates in the lawsuit, regarding the restraining order, all of that stuff Samantha had sent to Riot Games. As I affirmed in my public statement in April, I want to make it clear that any accusations against me or statements being circulated by this person about my character are patently false. Last November, a woman I briefly dated named I'm not going to say her name because, privacy laws. Also known as Beware Q Flynn, launched a horrifying smear campaign against me after stalking me for more than 2 years. She quickly spiraled into obsessive and dangerous behavior once she discovered that I was newly married, and I would not respond to her many attempts at communication. Her revenge included spreading lies about me and threatening my safety of my new wife under multiple false aliases and accounts. Aside from the pain she caused my family and I, she also contacted my professional colleagues and companies. I have provided voiceover work for an attempt to have me. I provided voiceover work in an attempt to have me removed from my roles. On February 3rd, I was granted a legal order of protection and no contact order against Mahat on the grounds of stalking, harassment, and threats. She's no longer permitted by law to contact me or anyone connected to me, including companies I provided voiceover work for. Very, very important here. The judge also requested that she receive mental health treatment, and that I released her to the care of her parents, and released her to the care of her parents. As of June 24th of this year, she has pending criminal charges in her state, which is true, coming up September 17th. Be there. Specifically, she's been charged with invasion of privacy, a Class A misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year in jail. My nose is so itchy right now. There's like massive pollen in the air. I'm cooperating with the state prosecutor and victims advocacy to ensure that justice will be served for the trauma that I experienced at the hands of Mahatma. While she is no longer allowed to continue her abhorrent actions and behavior, the impact she had on my public image and my professional reputation has been undeniable. The obsessive dedication she has to defaming me, oh my God, and causing me much pain and as much loss as possible has led to my replacement in at least 2 roles. I hope I have proven to you over the years of my work that I have poured my heart and soul into each character I portray, and providing the voice and contributing lines to Jin has been a gift. My work as Jin has been beloved globally by League of Legends fans, which is true. And I have felt truly honored by the fans who tell me my work has helped them bring the character to life. I would be blessed and honored to be able to continue the legacy of my character and continue my dedication to my craft to my beloved fans. It's difficult to put into words the suffering, humiliation, and loss that I've suffered as an experience of a result of her actions. I'm grateful to have such dedicated fans, as well as law enforcement in support of me, and it's my hope that you understand my situation and reconsider your search for a Jin sound alike. It's been a challenging time. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions or require clarification, and I would be happy to engage in conversation. To my knowledge, they have not. They have actively avoided conversation with him. Illuminati conspiracy. So they're just going to delete sound files and replace them? Yep. They're just going to replace all of his voice lines entirely. It is very stupid. It is very dumb. Hopefully the second court hearing will shine new light on Quentin's already proven innocence. Absolutely it will. Absolutely it will. My knowledge of the upcoming court case is that waste of money. Absolutely. All these people do is cost companies money. That's it. That's all they do. Oh, I just realized that this isn't showing the full letter. Oh well. I read you guys what it said. So they just cost companies money. That's all they do. They just cost money. So why companies listen to these fucking psychopaths, I have no idea. I have no idea. Let's get down to the bottom of it. Sorry, boomering as we go along. There you guys go. You're so fed up with the corporate double standards. This is the same company that's owned by the CCP, yet the blue hairs are rejoicing. Exactly. It's super petty. This is not over virtue signaling, because they would 100% be going on social media and beating their chest about it. They're quietly trying to replace him because they want to save money. Because they want to stop paying Quentin. This is like, I don't know why this is even legal. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't know if he's voicing I don't know if Vic is voicing anything in Shinobi Striker. That'd be pretty cool though. A company like Riot Games, owned by China. Owned by the CCP. And they're acting like this. It'll get framed as if it's because of the accusations. They know exactly what they're doing. It was stated in the email. Oh, I think I know what this is in regards to, but I need to check with the team first. Fuck yourself. There is a reason why your little fucking morons in suits, your little monkeys in suits that run the corporation, decided to hold casting call for a sound-alike to Jin. You know exactly what you're doing. Everyone knows exactly what you're doing. You can't just be like, oh, tee-hee, we can't talk about that. I'm sorry, I can't talk about my client's secret illegal account. Oh crap, I shouldn't have said he was a client. Oh crap, I shouldn't have said it was a secret. Oh crap, I definitely shouldn't have said it was illegal. Yes, it's too hot at Riot Games right now. Probably illegal because it's stated in signed contracts. I don't understand how these companies can get away with this stuff. Like, yeah, let me I know it sounds ridiculous, but I think it's time for voice actors to start copywriting their voices and their performances. Because I don't know if it's possible. I know that recently there was in the Magic the Gathering community, there was an uproar because someone copyrighted a deck list and it actually went through. But you should be able to copyright your voice performance. I would think, if that's the case. Because then you can stop bullshit like this. Of a company like, you know what? We really like your performance in this, but we really don't want to pay you. So we're going to find someone who sounds exactly like you and we're going to pay them a tenth. Have a good one, Tom. Take care. Have a good one, Tom. And they didn't do anything when their own director, the design director, fiddled girls in the Cosby Suite. Exactly. This is from a company that literally has two black eyes from how they treat women. Their own directors have a fucking laundry list of shit that they've done. Harley Davidson did copyright the sounds of the motorcycles, and The Simpsons had the VA's voices copyrighted. They can do the voice outside. They can't do the voice outside the studio. Oh, they can do the voice outside the studio. I honestly think at this point, if you're a contract voice actor, they just got sued again by the state of California. Oh my god. If you're a voice actor, I think it's time that you start copywriting your voice performances. Copyright your voice. Because then when companies like this fucking shit company, Riot Games, goes out and tries to replace you with someone who sounds exactly like you, nope, sorry. I own the copyright to that voice performance. You're hiring someone to infringe on my copyright? Gotta make them sound different. Sorry that you don't want to piss off all the fans. Because you want to trick them into thinking it's the same voice. Trick them into thinking it's the same actor. Oh yeah, they can't do the voice outside the studio? Yeah, it makes sense. Bit of insider info from what you studied in music business. The reason you can't copyright your own voice is because it's not considered as creative. No, it's what I'm thinking is the performance, because there is transformative elements to voice acting. Because you can copyright lyrics in a song and you can copyright a performance of a song. But you can copyright the performance, not necessarily your voice, but you can copyright your performance of said voice. And that would protect anything that sounds like it. And I agree, there needs to be better employment protections. Question, wouldn't the performance be owned by said company like Funimation or the Riot Games in this particular case? That's interesting, right? That would be defined in the contract. That would be defined in the contract. And that would be a very interesting legal argument. No, I'm just saying, Gav, that you can copyright both. You can copyright the lyric and you can copyright the performance in the music. There's like 3 aspects to music that you can copyright. I know that because even if you sing your own, like if you take a song and you sing it yourself, you may not get sued for and even if you play the instrument yourself, you may not get sued for the performance aspect of it, but you'll get sued for using copyrighted lyrics without permission. It has to be different. IP law is such a fucking weird thing. It's such a broad stroke law, in terms of like the law system, the justice system as it is. Like, next time I'm on Nick's show bringing up with him, I don't think Nick would ever want me back on the show. I'm not important enough to be on his show, to be honest. But I find it as an interesting legal argument because, yes, the company, I'm guessing in the contract, somewhere in the contracts, it states that your performance belongs to the company. And this is why they can pull this nonsense bullshit of having someone copy your performance and it not be a legal thing. But I would be interested to see if voice actors started copywriting their own performances or their own portrayals of characters, how fast that would get blacklisted. You have song rights, recording rights. When you play the song that isn't yours, it goes to the songwriter, owner of the music. Yeah. Yep. Arranger copyright. Yeah, there's a bunch of, and you're also going by, you also have to look at each country's standard, because each country can have different standards for copyrights. That's why SCPs, like the SCP community was in such an upheaval like a little while ago. No worries, Gav. It's why the SCP community was in such upheaval a while ago, because in the US it was upheld that the SCP was like a fan fiction and it couldn't be copyrighted or something like that. But Russian courts declared that it was copyrighted content by a specific person, and he claimed like all of the SCPs, even though he didn't write like any of them. So it's a very complex situation that goes like just more than one court, unfortunately. Your employer says that about your work too. Anything you create using their equipment? Absolutely, Ellie. And it's one of those things, like it's like whenever you're working for a company, it's like you have to look at the fine print, because anything that you use their equipment for, anything you do while you're being paid for them, blah 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 blah, they can come after you for. And that's the agreement of working for them. And if you don't agree with that, then you don't work for them. And like this type of shit is like, it's extortionary. And it should not be an enforceable contract, but for whatever reason it is, because I mean, laws are not there to protect people. The laws are there to protect the precious, frail, defenseless little corporations. You know, absolutely can't defend themselves. So it's pretty ridiculous. It's pretty ridiculous out there. You haven't heard anyone use the term fan fiction for the past 6 years? Weird. Yeah, it is strange. There hasn't been fan fictions. Because that is largely because there's been a crackdown on IP. Some conventions, like Anime North, for example, will not allow Disney material to be anywhere. You can't sell Marvel merchandise. You can't have, like, officially in the vendor area, you're not technically, apparently not allowed to sell Pokemon. You're not allowed to sell Marvel. You're not allowed to sell Disney. That's art as well. Like, you can't draw your own stuff and sell it. Because they have at times had representatives from these companies come in and wag their copyright over things and threaten to shut them down because they're facilitating copyright, like IP copyright infringement, because there's an artist that doesn't have a license to draw Marvel or sell Marvel merchandise that's drawing Marvel characters in their artist alley. And there's people that are not officially licensed to sell Nintendo products that are selling Pokemon plushies, etc. And like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Copyright everything you make. You're surprised those Minecraft Pixelmon servers are still up? They sell all kinds of Pokemon for real money. It's that is likely because Nintendo just doesn't want to spend money on the lawsuit. They don't care. But when you're talking about like a convention like Anime North, for example, they also don't care. However, Anime North cares more about their sponsors pulling out from being spooked. So they just comply. That's why they care. That's why they care. They care because they're going to lose a sponsor over a sponsor being spooked that, you know, someone's potentially making Nintendo angry. There are intellectual property snitches who go around to pin creator stores, see if they're selling anime pins, and shut those stores down because of course it's the internet. These people have nothing better to fucking do with their lives. There was a push from video game companies to shut down secondhand stores who were reselling video games. That got laughed out, thankfully, because video game companies wanted to shut down the secondary market. If you want to buy that version of Pokemon Blue, you got to buy it from Nintendo for full fucking price. Which, ironically, is actually cheaper than what it's priced at now. But you can't go and buy... Ideally, EA, Riot, all of these game companies, they don't want you to go out to a fucking secondhand store and pick up NHL 97 for 55 cents. They want you to buy NHL 90... If you want to play NHL 97, they want you to pay $100 for it. It got laughed the fuck out because that would destroy stores. But that's why companies like Electronics Boutique, like EB Games, GameStop, that's why they moved to merchandise. Because that spooked them huge from the video game companies being like, oh, well, we're just going to start doing DRM for all of video games now. And if you have a physical disc, there's a one-time use code. And that one-time use code, once that's gone, it's locked to a system. And if you sell it and resell it, then you're going to have to buy another code, and it's going to cost full price for that code. Because the games aren't on the discs anymore. The games are all downloads. Kind of like how China spooks businesses and advertisers who works with Taiwan. When you go to Taiwan, you won't see a damn thing. When you go to an American, absolutely. What happened with one of your coworkers? They were crafting food-themed items for Etsy with your company's IP, and it got pulled into a room full of lawyers. That's fucking disgusting. Your favorite copyright parody case to ever happen was back in the 70s. It involved a guy who made an X-rated parody of Mickey and Minnie Mouse. Disney brought him into court and sued him for $1 million, and Disney won. However, they lost more money from the lawyers, and the guy they sued would never be able to pay the $1 million. Absolutely. They do it to set a standard, right? It costs them a shit ton of money. Air pirates, oh my god. Oh my god. It costs them a shit ton of money to do, but it's to set a precedent, right? They spend that much money once, and then they never have to do it again because it's precedent, and people get scared by it. Absolutely. Absolutely, it's dirty. Which brings me to OnlyFans. Discs are prone to breaking down. That's why they rip data on the computers. If it means injecting, that's the other thing too. It's the legality behind. Oops, that's the wrong one. Behind ROMs, right? That's the wrong one too. There we go. You own a game, you can legally rip a copy of it and have a copy and use the ROM as long as you own that game. There's so many people that are just like, oh my god, it's a ROM? That's so illegal. It's actually not. Emulation is not illegal at all. Emulation is not illegal at all, and it pisses game companies off so fucking much. So, final topic of today, OnlyFans. I regret to inform everybody that I will not be able to make an OnlyFans anymore. I know everyone is so disappointed. You were so close. You were so close to getting explicit crumb content. I can't do it anymore because, they're kicking porn off the platform. They're kicking porn off the platform. I'm so sad. No, 100%. Like they're shutting down servers for old games. The games break down, the systems break down, the discs break down, and they remove the rights from the digital store, and you can't even fucking download them even if you purchase them. I purchased so many games. on the Nintendo Wii store. I had a fucking full library of Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64 games on the Nintendo Wii store. And then they shut the Nintendo Wii store down. And I have literally no way to get any of them anymore. I have to rebuy them. Sony did the exact same thing. The Sony PlayStation 3 store, when they got the PlayStation 4, you can't bring them over. You have to buy all the titles again. Oh, why? They're not the same? No, this is the PS4 version of this fucking Final Fantasy VII. You have the PS3 version of Final Fantasy VII. You need the PS4 version of it. When the PS5 came out, they did the same thing again. Oh, you have the PS4 version of Final Fantasy VII. If you want to play the original, you got to buy it again, full price. Yeah, that's why I didn't buy a PS5, and that's why I told Sony to go fuck themselves. Hey, Ken. OnlyFans Ken's casting couch. There you go. Xbox did the right thing. If you owned it on Xbox 360, you could play it on Xbox Series X. There you go. Fucking shocker. What a fucking shock. If I bought something fucking 15 years ago on Xbox 360, I can download it right now on my Series X if I wanted to. How you doing, Ken? It's good to see you. How goes the fight, Ken? You missed my big announcement. I'm disappointed in you. You're never going to know what it is now. That's why Steam has such a stronghold in gaming. That's what I'm saying. Steam did it right for the longest time. You're okay? Good to hear. You're stable. But OnlyFans is taking... If it was not already enough for Ken to lose his real job, now he's losing his OnlyFans. It's so ridiculous. You can have the files for the games from the Wii store somewhere on the web. You have to look it up. No OnlyFans, I heard, so sad. I know. They're taking away all of your avenues, Ken. They're attacking you personally. This is an attack on Ken Jennings personally. This is an attempt to snuff out Ken. And I will not stand for it. So OnlyFans is banning porn from being on the platform. I mean, like, that's like 1 billion simps butt puckering at the same time. Wherever are they going to go to pay their queens to show them titty? Your OnlyFans was going to be nothing but BBC, big black couches. Exactly. Ken's going to have to do freaking black market feet pics now. The markup on that, I hear, is insane. It's just going to be deep web. Not going to lie, I think it's hilarious. More reason to support his GoFundMe. Exactly. Exactly, Ken. More reason to support your GoFundMe there. Stan's got it right. Twitch still has still has tier 3 subs. Well, this is the thing. It's like, I'm curious to see where this goes because Twitch is under the microscope right now. Because Twitch has pretty much been having like softcore porn on on their site. And all of these companies are like, we can't have we can't have pornography being sold through us. So, where the fuck did all these Puritan companies come from, by the way? Like, literally, the same companies who are advertising, like, fucking tits out for fucking MasterCard. All of these fucking companies that are just, like, literally plastering vaginas everywhere with their fucking logo on it, all of a sudden have a problem taking money from people who want to watch porn. No more hot tub streams. Yeah, they're going to have to take away hot tub streams. It's a thin line. Imagine thinking hot tub streamers are okay. That's what I'm saying. Imagine thinking showing elbow or like fucking showing shoulder on stream is okay in 2021. Imagine not being covered head to fucking toe in a sheet while you're on camera because someone could be rubbing off to it. And OnlyFans literally made their company. So this is the thing, right? OnlyFans makes like 20%. So if you donate $100 to someone on OnlyFans, OnlyFans is taking $20 of that. So OnlyFans made $1 billion. Imagine. That's 20% of what their people made. And so now they're cutting out the entire reason that they made that $1 billion. And they're pushing artists and they're pushing chefs. Because, you know, there's so many fucking people watching that. What does the article say about OnlyFans that I cover? This article just basically goes about, like, talking about their kowtowing. Decision comes from the London-based company reportedly struggling to raise new funding. So OnlyFans, what the whole reason behind this is, this article gets into it. OnlyFans is mad because they can't get public investors. That's it. That's the reason why they're kicking porn off the platform. Is because they want to be a publicly traded company, but no one wants to invest in them because they're a porn company. Pretty much. They want public investors, and they're having trouble raising new funding avenues because of their adult content, because people shy away from investing in adult content. That's the entire reason why they're doing this. Never mind the fact they literally made $1 billion off of it. That's not enough for them. They want to make more money. So let's cut out 90% of the reason why we're making that money so we could potentially make that money back in investors. What a fucking joke. What a fucking joke. And then they try to say that they remain committed to their not safe for work content. Bullshit. Bullshit. Basically, they grew off of the back of sex workers. Where did all that money go? Yeah, that's a good question. They get 20%. I know it's not much. But do you really think that they're going to get $1 billion from investors? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I do not think so at all. They're literally cutting out what makes them the most money, what's made them popular, so they can bring in a more stable thing, and they're going to make like pennies on the dollar. It's actually really risky processing credit card payments for porn and stuff. CC processors probably not happy with the misrepresentation. Well, this is the thing. It's like the people on OnlyFans, I'm sorry, y'all are not sex workers. Y'all are not sex workers. Y'all aren't going to brothels and putting yourself at risk and sleeping with a bunch of people and potentially exposing yourself to sexually transmitted diseases or violence. This is a different situation. There is no standard for OnlyFans. You literally just take a picture of your vagina and put it on the internet. That takes zero skill. There are people that put work into it, certainly. However, we're not talking about the top 1%. We're not talking about the top 1% of individuals, or like the Cardi B's or whatever else that go on there and fucking wag their ass. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about fucking Squishy the cat taking video of her sticking her toilet brush up her ass in her fucking trailer park and putting that on OnlyFans. That is zero risk. I mean, it's risk for the people watching it. Stop invalidating their experiences. Some of them do end up getting stalkers. It's the risk of being on the internet. It's the risk of being on the internet. I could have a stalker. Does that mean that I am entitled to call myself X, Y, or Z? Opening a Facebook account is a privacy risk. Opening a Twitter account is a privacy risk. We see that. It's a life risk having a Twitter account at this point. It's a life risk having... You are risking more of your life having a Facebook, a Reddit, and a Twitter account than you are taking photos of your ass and putting them on OnlyFans. So to call them a sex worker, quote unquote, please. Please. That'd be like calling someone that goes to kindergarten an educator. Because the children are teaching too. Fuck off. One of those high schoolers not giving a darn about high school because they need to be on OnlyFans model. Had their dream crush shortly after because they were held back in their current grade. Imagine being in a profession where your success is tied directly to how young you are. Not your skill, because that's different. Skill does decline with age, but it is specifically, oh, you're 18 years old, you are automatically more successful than someone who is 27. No worries, Ellie. I like discussion. I like people talking. It's bizarre. It's bizarre to the nth degree where people can consider themselves consider that sex work is a thing that exists. You know, stripping being a stripper is sex work. That requires you to go out and seek an employer and perform. Sitting on your bed, using tools that your simps have paid for, and writing their name on your ass, and then masturbating with the marker. That's not sex work. That is not sex work, quote unquote. Like, I don't think that I'm a broadcaster because I'm on YouTube. This doesn't make me a professional broadcaster. This doesn't make me a news anchor. Look, I have a podcast. You know, don't you know who I am? I podcast on YouTube. I am a fucking celebrity. I am a fucking entertainer. I should be fucking held. I could be the host of Jeopardy. I podcast on YouTube. Put me on television. Stripper is not being sex work, you misogynist. It's being an entertainer. Crumbcaster. Exactly. Like, do I think for a second that I'm a quote-unquote professional? Like, by definition, I am a professional. Because I literally get paid money to be on here. Because you guys give me super chats. I have a Patreon, which you can join, Knuckleheads, by the way. I have a Patreon that you can join. So I technically get paid to podcast. So I'm, by textbook definition, a professional streamer. But am I out here like trying to say like, oh yeah, you know, look at I'm like this super professional streamer, you know, like I could be like totally be a host of like Jeopardy. I'm a professional entertainer. Thank you very much. So you should respect me. Fuck out of here. I'm literally sitting in my room, half of which is like so dirty because I haven't fucking cleaned it. Giant mess. I don't put any effort. I just tied my hair up today. Got on camera. I didn't do makeup. Didn't do anything like that. I'm the furthest from professional. But, you know, my setup, my stream is like more professional than most. I'm an entertainer. You're nasty. Papega. I'm not a VTuber. Why don't I get locals? You actually like the platform? I don't know locals, and I mean, bottom line, like, I'm not really a right fit for locals. I don't have as much as I love y'all, I don't have a big enough community for locals. There's not a whole lot for me to post about, so like if I get deplatformed, I get deplatformed. I don't care. This is not a career for me, right? Like YouTube is not the be all end all for me. I'm perfectly fine going and doing whatever else. Like I can, like I was talking about earlier today, I showed you guys my vision for what a convention, for my convention that I have planned. I showed you the vision for that. There's a huge fucking demand for people like me in the workforce right now. I could literally go out there and write a blank check because of the degree of talents that I possess. You know, people follow without paying so they can get updates and stuff. Plus the paid features too. I don't know anything about locals, and to be honest, like, I don't really care about locals. If they reached out to me and be like, oh, hey, you know, we want to give you all of these perks and stuff, cool. But they haven't, and I don't care. I have a Discord server, Ellie. I have a Discord server. It's a private server just because there's a bunch of weirdos. Like, I have it linked to my Twitch subscriptions as well as my Patreon. And because I stream Smite every so often on Twitch, there's a bunch of really fucking racist and psychotic weirdos that are on Smite. And so I just have that one layer of protection so that people can't just join and be complete mutants. Because I barely ever check it. But if people want to hang out with me in the Discord, I mean, I appreciate it. It's not a super active Discord, but it's just $5 a month. Either you could subscribe for free on Twitch with Twitch Prime, and that gets you into the Discord. Which I generally forget about keeping up on the monthly thing. So like if you subscribe once, then you're pretty much in there. Until I remember to check, and then I boot out the people that haven't paid. Or you can join the Patreon for $5, like the $5 tier, and you can get in the Discord too. Either one. If you join the channel membership for this YouTube, I don't think it's set up for that, but you can just let me know that you've done it, and I'll add you as well. Because I do have emojis that are strictly for the YouTube as well. I'm just putting them in right now. There you go. So I do have 4 unique emojis to the YouTube channel. You want to support me? Thank you, Ellie. I appreciate it. But yeah, if you want to support, add me. I definitely will, Zero. I definitely will. Yeah, there's ways to support. If you want to do it on the Patreon, if you want to do it on here, on the YouTube channel, if you want to do it on Twitch, you can do all of that fun stuff. If you want to buy Pepe Le Clown. If you want to buy some Knuckleheads merchandise, feel free to do that as well. There's a number of people that have bought like really cool stuff. I saw pictures of I can probably pull it up here. Ends for me, Dalla Dalla. So people have been sending me pictures of like them using their Knuckleheads mugs. The throw pillow is like really good. Throw pillow is really, really awesome. There you go. You got a couple of those, but yeah, we have a new Knuckleheads mug. That just hit 20% off now. The color of the handle and the inside can change, so you can pick whatever color combination you want. Really nice. And these print really, really, really nice, by the way. These print so well. Bottle opener. Where the hell did I have? Did I upload that? I thought I did. It didn't upload. Gav got a bottle opener. You got the Knuckleheads keychain bottle opener. You shilled. Yes, you did. Absolutely. Got the Knuckleheads bottle opener, which turned out fan-fucking-tastic, by the way. It looks so good. Like, everything I've gotten off of the Zazzle store, everything, like, bar none, every single thing has been super high quality. I thought I uploaded it, Gav. I'm sorry. I thought I uploaded it, but it didn't upload. Well, everything I've gotten from the Knucklehead store has been very, very high quality, so I can attest. I've bought a number of things. The 16-ounce glass is really nice. Got this one right here. This is really nice. It's the only one in existence that has the "Don't Clowny Around" on it, because those fucking wackadoos got it taken down. For literally no reason. Literally no reason that I still haven't got an answer back for, by the way. It's pissing me off. But yeah, I got the flask. The flask is pretty good quality. The cards are very good quality. The flip-flops are very good. There's a frosted mug if you want to get the frosted mug. We have the beer cozy. Super quality. Got a shot glass finally. The tote bag is really nice. I kind of want to get the puzzle. The shoes have been fantastic. Shoes have been really good. It is a rare design, LEZ. It's very rare. Yeah, you can get a 2-tone 4-course mug. You can get the 4-course baseball. You can get the Knuckleheads puck. You quote tweeted someone who was talking about your affidavit. Can you see if his post is showing? Getting a message saying it's not visible. Let me check that real quick. Oh yeah, talking about Stan. Stan, what the hell? What the hell, Stan? People are going after you. Was that the one from 2 hours ago? Yeah, it's showing in tweets unavailable. That could be my settings. Yeah. Oh, now it's showing. I clicked on it and now it's showing. It's so weird. You piqued my interest. There is a puzzle. There is a puzzle, Zero. Let me show it to you. It's a very plain one. But it's still a puzzle. Where the fuck was it? There you go. The official Knuckleheads jigsaw puzzle. And you can get it all the way up to 1,000 pieces. You can get a 1,000 piece Knuckleheads puzzle. If you wanted it. Which you can edit the design too. I gotta do that real quick. Make sure that this thing is like in the correct spot. For some reason, like when you have bigger sizes, they don't translate when you there we go. They don't translate when you upsize them. So you go. You can get a 1,014 piece puzzle. Knuckleheads. But yeah, I checked Stan and it didn't show, but then I clicked on the tweet and then I went back to your profile and then it showed. The 252 pieces is like the best quality. It's going to have quality issues if you go bigger because the size is just not that big. But the 252 piece puzzle is the nice size there. You can go all the way up to 1,000. You must get. I will drop the link to the store here in just a minute. You can check them all out here. You can check the store out. There you go. You can also customize the designs. If you don't like the design or whatever else, or you don't like where it's placed, you can always go in and edit the design and customize it. You have an obsession with puzzles? Nice. And get yourself a pair of flip-flops. Everything's 20% off right now. Everything is 20% off right now as well. So you can keep that in mind. There's basically sales like every single day on Zazzle, which is also amazing. But yeah, there you go. You can check out the Knucklehead store, all that fun stuff. But what the hell is going on, Stan? People are like just out of nowhere coming after you. And they've seemed to revised history. They have seemed to have revised history about what exactly is going on. I don't understand why. Like, they're trying to say that Monica didn't quote unquote drag you into court. It's like, yeah, she kind of did. She didn't tell you that she was naming you as a witness, and then she just made a statement. You're only you're only commenting on a couple folks' tweets, but you must have hit the hornet's nest because all these folks showed up to your timeline. It's so bizarre, and like they have like convinced themselves that their little fan fiction is reality. It's so fucking weird. Like, I don't know what rock they hit their fucking head off of, but there ain't no coming back. They're just gone. Gone, baby, gone. They're so dumb. Like, no, I'm just standing again. It was Vic's fault for having Stan in the court case. What? What? Because Vic disagreed with the situation and contacted Stan, and Stan agreed with Vic? What? How is it Vic's fault that Monica chose to, like, not actually reach out to you? You gonna buy the puzzle later? Thank you so much, Zero. I can make a Knuckleheads backpack, yes. I can make a Knuckleheads backpack. Did I actually have that? I thought I built one. 1 second. There was a collection somewhere. There was a lunchbox too, which is not showing up here. Probably in the collections though. Watch that got deleted because it was offensive to someone who doesn't like lunchboxes. It's showing those. Let me see what I have, because I can... Oh, I'm going to take this off for a minute so you guys can't see my login. Not that one. That one. I'm going to sign in for a second here. Oh, please sign in with your Google account. Fucking eat my ass. Oh my god, this two-step verification bullshit. I like the additional security, but Jesus Christ, sometimes I just want to log in. I don't want to have to fucking jump through hoops. You have returned. Welcome back, Zero. Now let me... Oh, I don't... Oh, sign... Fuck me! I signed into the wrong account. There we go. I'm gonna pull that back up on stream now. Alright. So yeah, I have a lunchbox. I don't know why it's not showing. Oh, it's probably because it's out of stock at the moment. There's the lunchbox, which they don't have stock of at the moment. So it's not in the store. Have a good night, Gav. Have a good one. Here we go. Here we go. The full list of shit that we have here. We have the apron. The apron's great. We have socks. I haven't tried the socks yet. We have the high tops. We have, oh, I guess we don't have the backpack yet. We have a clock. I took the clock out of the store because it wasn't really doing anything. I mean, people weren't really interested in it, so I took it out. I might put it back in later. We'll see. But yeah, we can get like t-shirts and shit. We can get a golf ball apparently. Like, I love this stuff. Like, you can see all the stuff that you could do with this. Oh my god. From time to time I take a look through here and just be like, look at all the really cool things that I can buy. Oh yeah, I'm apparently never allowed to put a onesie in my store because that offends people. Challenge coins. I probably could make challenge coins. I think they exist. It would be really interesting to make like to mint like a bunch of coins for Knuckleheads. I don't know how much that would cost. Yeah, I'm apparently not... Oh, mouse pads now. That's awesome. They would make really good mouse pads. Yeah, I'm apparently not allowed to have baby items in my store ever because that's offensive to people. You can make a leather watch. Why are onesies offensive? Oh, because there's a fat idiot out there that had an abortion, and so it's offensive to have baby items in the store because I make fun of that person. because that automatically means that I'm making fun of them and not actually just making items for people that have children that want to put them in Knucklehead stuff. So there's that. What are challenge coins? They're basically like little collector things. Like you're supposed to adult onesies. I wish I could make adult onesies. I don't remember exactly. I want to get that party flag banner actually. Look at that. If I recall correctly, it's basically like an army thing. Okay, it was an army idea anyway. Or it's like if you do stuff, then they give you a coin to signify. So it's just stuff that you just like give out as like little collectible things that people say, hey, oh hey, I have this really unique thing. It's really cool. Was that person that said going to the doctor to see if I'm having a girl in an abortion? No. That was a ridiculous person though, by the way. No, it was some fat flailing idiot that got really mad that I made baby items. Because, you know, obviously I knew intimate details about their life and I was totally doing it to make fun of them and totally not because I thought it was really cool to make baby items and, you know, for people, for my viewers that actually have children and that have infants that would dress them up in really cool things for memes from the show. No, it has nothing, that's nothing to do with it. 100% because I was making fun of them. Yeah, totally. 1000% that. And like Zazzle wouldn't listen at all. Like I still haven't got an answer back from them. So gotta love that. We should do a collab with Nick Migtown, DHP, and yourself and a couple others on a challenge coin design. That would be really cool, actually. That would be a very cool idea. That would be a very cool idea. Oh, an acrylic puzzle. I can make an acrylic puzzle too. Yeah, I'm just looking at all these weird things. You want a custom challenge coin so bad? That would be pretty fucking sweet. That'd be pretty fucking sweet. You don't have kids, but you totally put your exactly like you can buy it for your for your fur children. Like you don't even need to like buy it for your babies. You can buy it for your fur babies. Like people are just so stupid, and we can bulk order it and save money. Absolutely can. That would be fucking sweet to do, actually. Oh, we can get a Knuckleheads lampshade. Oh, like I got so much stuff to make in my downtime right now. I can make so much stuff in my downtime right now. This is crazy. Like there's more items. Like there's new items that I'm seeing. This is so cool. All right, I gotta stop looking at this. I gotta stop looking at this. Adult onesies or we Riot. I wish they made them. They just don't make them though. At least on Zazzle they don't have them. Petition to Zazzle. But apparently my store is doing good because it's a Z rank 6. Whatever the hell that means. It can go up to 10. Like Z rank 10 being like the best. So I'm above average in terms of store, so I guess they like me. But they don't like me enough to give me a straight answer about things. So there you go. There's like, oh, your design? Yeah, this design, by the way. This design was found to be bullying and breaking the TOS. That design was found to be a terrorist action. A rainbow with a clown nose. Terrorism. Only if it's made of human skin. Your supplier's discriminatory against age players in the infantilism community. Yeah. Yeah. About that. The funny part is like Zazzle, it's cool to like do all this stuff through Zazzle, but like literally I could just reach out to any of these stores and be like, "Hey, can we do this?" Because they're all through like independently owned stores, right? Exactly, Ellie. Doesn't even sound like it. But, you know, apparently that was enough. Do I have a way to get in contact with Tug? Tug doesn't like me. I'm telling you guys. Tug and Nick don't like me. People want me to do stuff with them all the time, and I'm like, well, I've asked Tug to be on the show twice. We had time to set up. Like we've had confirmation of him coming on the show twice, and he ghosted us both times. So it's like, all right, cool. Fortunately, I mean, like, whatever. I don't know what I did. Well, I have an idea what it's about, but no one's ever brought up an issue. I don't know why they don't like me. I don't know. I mean, like, there was the issue with Josh calling me out a while back when Renfamous tried to say that I was a specific user on Kiwi Farms, and I denied it. And then Josh came out and confirmed based on what the hell was it? What's the word I'm looking for? There's a word, circumstantial. It's not circumstantial evidence. It's the one where you pick something and then you use that as evidence. I don't remember the term for it right now. You have a different perspective of it, Ken? You don't have anything against Tug, but you don't really care much for him either. It's pretty shitty that he had people go after his channel. So I'm saying, like, you know, like, I supported Tug, and, like, I don't have a problem with him at all. Like, I didn't have any issues with him. I understand he's very much like a hype man, and, you know, it is what it is. He's doing the stuff for Johnny Depp, the same stuff he was doing for Vic Mignogna. Like, I understand he's got good intentions, and overall he's a decent human being from what I understand of him. But you know, I don't know. I don't know why he doesn't like me. Your farts are an act of terror and bullying too. Absolutely savage. I don't know why he doesn't like me. It's just like that whole group. I guess, like, maybe because, like, I'm friends with Doug. I don't know. Maybe that's it. Like, maybe that's why Tug doesn't like me, because, like, I'm on Doug TenNaples' show every so often, or I'm associated with Doug TenNaples. I don't know. Literally has nothing to do with him, but sure. And, like, there's people out there that say, like, oh, well, you were this person on Kiwi Farms and they hated Tug and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I know the person who was on Kiwi Farms and he didn't like Tug. I had no problem with Tug. So, it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Through Twitter, thank you, Randy. I appreciate that. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, he had an issue with Tug. I didn't have an issue with Tug. Guilty by association is one of those things these days. I guess so. I mean, I've reached out to EVS a number of times, and he's just ignored me because I'm a nobody, so... It is what it is. Like, I understand where I am on the internet pecking order. I don't have a huge audience. I'm valueless from the sense of... bringing in new eyeballs to people's channels. I mean, I would disagree that I'm valueless, because, you know, I think I'm pretty entertaining. I've had people tell me I'm pretty entertaining. I think I have a lot to bring to on a podcast, on a broadcast, but eh. I'm not Tug, I'm not Nick, I'm not Yellow Flash, I'm not EVS, so, and those aren't my shows. That's why I don't make the calls. People hate Ken on Kiwi Farms, but still defended him after what happened. Well, yeah, because what happened to Ken was absolute trash. It was absolute nonsense. That's gonna bug me. What fucking term was that? Basically, like, what happened on Kiwi Farms was, I can't. There's a fucking word, and it's gonna bug me. I'm gonna remember it after I fucking close the stream. Basically, Null came out and was like, oh yeah, that's definitely Cress, based off of the fact that they live in Kitchener, and this person's IP address is from Kitchener. It's like, I guess anybody at all that logs into Kiwi Farms from Kitchener is automatically me now. But I'm like, all right, dude, sure. But yeah, so there's that whole fiasco, and then like after that happened, Nick like distanced himself from me, and a bunch of people distanced themselves from me. So I guess they had an issue with that. I don't know. Ethan Van Sciver, yeah. Yeah, Ethan Van Sciver. But like, I've shown that this channel is pretty well like, I don't pick sides. I don't pick sides on arguments, and I'm pretty well like, I'll listen to everybody. I'll listen to everybody's side of things. I'm not sitting here and being like, you know, fuck EVS because I'm friends with Doug. Like, I'll talk to Ethan. I don't care. I mean, I know Doug and him had a tiff and don't seem to like each other. Like, I'm not going to disassociate and hate Ethan Van Sciver because Ethan and Doug have a beef. I don't care. I'll talk to either of them. One of them tells me to not talk to the other person, I'll tell him to fuck off. Like, it's the way that goes. Like, and again, like, I'm not a person that really cares about celebrity status either. Like, I'll talk to Vic the same way that I'll talk to some other person. Or like, you know, I'll talk to Ethan Van Sciver the same way that I'll talk to Doug. Like, I'll give them the same shake. I'm not a person that's gonna go on and be like, you know, gaga mode because I'm on a chat or a stream with a celebrity. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Again, my schedule is relatively simple to figure out. And I'm fairly well open to anything, or fairly well open to being on anybody's show. But I don't get the invites. I'm not cool enough for the party, so and it doesn't bother me. You watch other YouTubers even if you disagree with them. Exactly. Like, it's whatever. Like, have a conversation. I had Ron fucking Toye on this show 3 times. And I agreed to have Monica on, and she just ghosted it. So it's like, I might not like these people. I'll talk to them civilly. There's certain people I won't have on the show because I know that they're 100% just going to be there to troll and have absolutely no interest in having a civil conversation. You have an open invite to your show? Nice, Ken. We'll have to do that sometime. I didn't know if you were still streaming or not after everything that happened. It'll surely be in MGTOWN podcast playing in the future. That was a lot of fun. For those of you who didn't know, or who might have missed it, I don't know if he uploads them somewhere after the fact, but I was on the MGTOWN podcast with Drexel. Like, Drexel and Loust had me on the MGTOWN podcast the other day. I don't remember what day, but that was a great conversation. It was a very, very candid conversation, and I think people enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know. See, people seem to like my opinions on things, but like, I buck the trend, right? I don't say what people expect me to. Oh, he uploads it on the YouTube channel? Okay, I have to check that out then. Because I want to see if anyone's commented about it. It might be uncomfortable, but it's not necessarily always a bad thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, you learn when you get put into places where you're not comfortable. Then you learn. If you're in a place where you're uncomfortable, you learn something about that. And I like being there. I don't like being uncomfortable, but I like being in situations where I'm learning. Because that makes me a better person. And I think more people should be open to learning. I think more people should be open to discussing things. Uncomfortable things. Not necessarily just like going on with society's view of topics. Like, we talked a lot about the Chris Chan stuff on that MGTOWN podcast, and I said some things that people would be guffawing about, and it's like, no, this is shit that needs to be said. I think it's just how people direct their anger towards someone. They prefer keeping any feelings to myself, depending on the situation. Might interject with proper response. Episode 37, Drex versus O Canada. Nice. I'll have to take a look at it. I'll have to look it up. That'll be fun. But like, this is what I'm saying though. It's like, people get angry because they see things or they feel things that they know are true and that makes them uncomfortable. Or they see in themselves that they wish that they didn't possess. It's a lot of psychology, and we're gonna get a little psychological here for a minute. Ken, you can back me up on this. Oftentimes, you'll see in like youth and teenagers, if they get angry or they're mad or they clash with their parents about something, it's because they see that in themselves, or they might not see it at the time, but what they're clashing with their parents about is that they have some sort of trait inside themselves that they hate. They don't like it whatsoever, and their parent or their guardian or whatever else, they express that, or they are that, and they see that and they lash out at it because they don't know how to deal with it themselves. There's a trait about their parents or whatever else, and so they manifest that. Psychoanalysis is your gig. Stop stealing your stuff. You may have the paper, Ken, but I also have the education. I just don't have the paper. But they'll oftentimes, like, things that make you mad, like if you get mad at somebody for doing something, it's usually because like you feel that you have that trait, and it's a trait that you don't like in yourself. You just saw this. Oh no, what is this? What the heck is this? Monica Rial in a nutshell. Oh no.
Wait, look. Is it him? No, it's a fake victim, Monica Rial. Poisonous snake in this entire region. So what I'm gonna do is jam my thumb in a butthole. Crank it. Oh, Monica's really pissed. In a butthole now. Oh yeah, that pissed it off all right. Does he always do this?
Oh my god. Alright. I'm gonna take that off before I get fucking eaten off of YouTube. That was fantastic, Stan. Oh my god. That was fantastic. It gets worse within vague situations depending on the answer. That's either complicated or delayed. Exactly. So this is not like 100%. Going back to what I was talking about before. Going back to what I was talking about before. It's you see a situation, so it's either something that you've been inflicted by, or it's something that it's a trait within yourself that you fucking can't stand and you hate, and you just don't want it to be a part of you, but you know it's there. And you lash out at those things in other people. So if you hate liars, but you know you have this compulsion that you just like, it's a dirty thing that you don't like in your life, that you just lie all the time, you're going to lash out at other liars. You see this all the time with people projecting on social media. They can't fucking stand. They can't fucking stand when people go out there and objectify women, right? That's the worst thing in the world. Everyone has to be burnt to the ground, whoever objectifies a woman once. They're the fucking worst perpetrators, because that's a guilty thing, that they feel guilty about it themselves. And like, they feel guilty about it themselves, and they lash out at those things they see in other people because they feel bad about it. And they think that by overcompensating, by going after these things, they feel like by going after these things and overcompensating by going after them, it repairs the damage that they've done and that they feel guilty for. You're the rap artist in this stream now, Ken. also the therapist. That's going to get taken out of context. That's going to get taken out of context hard. But you see it all the time. And it's really, really easy on social media because you have a bunch of these people who don't have their lives published. They don't have their lives out there for everyone to dissect. And it's the telltale heart, right? It's the telltale heart beating in their fucking walls, and they constantly have it on their mind. They see people all the time. They see, Bill Cosby's getting taken down. Weinstein's getting taken down. This person's getting taken down. And then they jump on it because they feel so fucking guilty and they can't stop the fucking beating. They can't stop the beating in their own fucking walls, and so they're constantly tweeting about it. They're constantly talking about it. They're constantly attacking people over it. They're constantly trying to get people canceled because they know if anyone found out their dirty little secret, it would be all over for them. Because in their world, there's no route back. But they're perfectly happy telling everyone, all you have to do is just follow everything that the regime brulee society tells you to do. Doesn't fucking work that way. It doesn't work that way. I guess I gotta shorten this up because it's not showing y'all's chat. Hold on a second. There we go. They're running out of pearls to clutch as the years go by. They have to make it worse. They have to make it worse for everybody. It's not just about tweeting about things that people don't like anymore. If you like something that people don't like, now you're canceled. Was that a Mr. Hanky impression? No, it was just a random voice. It was just a random voice. This is insane. Like we're rapidly approaching plaid at this point. We're rapidly approaching going plaid, and like there's no point of return after that. I honestly wish these people would just get the fucking help they deserve. Because they're clearly demented. They're clearly so troubled by the things or the thing that they inflicted on somebody else. It's like that person, right? That it's that trope of the person being like so stricken with guilt because they like threw dirt in the face of a kid when they were like fucking 4 years old. You're like, I was so mean to that girl when I was little. And then like they spend like years of their life trying to find this person, and they finally apologize, and they apologize like, we were kids. I don't care about that. That's fine. That person lived their entire life not fucking caring at all about what this person did to them when they were like 4, and this other person just lived their entire life in fucking grief and guilt. Like, just learn to let go. Learn to let go, because it is an infection. It's a disease that sticks with you. And then you turn out like these psychopaths that inflict their disease on everyone else. It's the same sort of thing that happened in the Sophie case. Child abuse. It's a fucking disease. It's supposed to be an Aussie accent. Crikey. It's the same thing that happened in the Sophie case. History of parental abuse on the kids. History of sexual abuse. Can't let it go. Never got resolved. Can't let it go. Have to inflict it on somebody else. Have to inflict the same thing because of that harbored resentment. It's such a fucking circle. And it's getting worse because of today's society. Because we have damaged people creating damaged people. And that's it. And there's no way past it. Because we don't have the old school parental system anymore. We have the two parents working jobs. We have entitlement culture. I deserve to have Saturdays and Sundays and every single holiday off because I have children. I deserve to work from 8 o'clock in the morning until 3 so I can go pick up my kids and spend all my time with my kids. No. You don't get to be rewarded because you have a fuck trophy. You get to be an adult and figure out your life. Because we learned at a very young age, after we got past the toddler phase, that the world does not revolve around us. However, some people never quite got past that point. You can understand the difficulty of letting things go. Sometimes you have a very good memory, plus you remember a lot. Sometimes a current and present thing will pluck at the strings and bring up some memories. That's very true, Morpheus. However, the human mind is flawed, and it will replace memories that are missing, that are fragmented. It will replace situations, and it'll smooth over edges. The longer that and the more that we recall things, and the more that we remember things, the worse the memory gets, the more it gets degraded. That's what happened in the whole Monica Rial situation. It happened with that other moron that was like, I sat between Vic and the Japanese actress because I was the white knight, and then every picture was of him sitting like halfway across the fucking room, and Vic was like right next to the Japanese voice actress that he apparently had to separate them when they were both smiling happily. It's like, well, I remembered it differently. Yeah, well, pictures don't lie. Facts don't lie. Even, like, we can convince ourselves, Brett Weaver, we can convince ourselves that something happened very, very easily. And it's very, very hard to deal with a fact that is contra to what you remember. But when it's a fact, it's a fact. If person number 1 is guilty for what they cancel person number 2 for, chances are that person number 1 will be either canceled themselves or worse, defended by their hypocritical mob peers. Absolutely. And it's all about creating a body count that will bury the interest in your scent. It is all about leaving as many bodies on the floor so that the stench of that rot covers yours. That's the way it goes. That's why these people do it, because they think that they can get away with it. Hello, Sam. I was Quentin Handler to keep him away from the younger girls instead of just not inviting him to your convention. Exactly. Like it's the replacement of memories based off of current biases. It's like, oh well, when I was the handler for that person, I was actively making sure that he was never alone with women. No, you weren't. You were a handler. Chances are you were like in fucking starstruck mode the entire time and didn't even know what hand was your right one. Because your vagina kept vibrating. You literally have no clue where you were because you just were starstruck the fact that you got the assignment to be on that handler. Guarantee you. You had zero fucking idea. And the entire time you were making sure that they weren't alone because you wanted, because you had that requirement. You should have seen the shit you done in your streams today, showing the evidence of neutral psychiatrist on YouTube isn't so neutral after all. People on YouTube, that's what I'm saying. I don't claim to be neutral, right? If I have a guest on, I'll be respectful to the guest. I'll have someone I don't fucking like Ron Toye. I'll have him on the show. Even though there's a million things that I want to say to him, I'm having him on as a guest, so I'm going to give him professional courtesy. People on YouTube pander to their audience. I know that's a shock. I know that's a surprise for a lot of people. I understand that's really, really... It's a hard thing to get through the coconut. People on YouTube and people on Twitch and people on Twitter and people on any sort of social media, they pander to what their audience wants. most of the time. When I had Ron Toye on, people wanted me to eviscerate him. I didn't do that. That pissed a lot of people off. I did what I did because I wanted to go down a route. I didn't want to impress my own feelings on the situation. I didn't want to steer the conversation in any way, etc., etc. I did it for reasons beyond growing my fans. Because I don't want to be famous. I want to be, I want to be professional and have integrity. Say it ain't so. Now, for you ladies, a cool beverage or a Hitachi magic wand. Conventions have a peak of drama at a time when you're still young lads. Strange realization. That would be unprofessional, yeah, absolutely. You watch people for their opinions, even though I disagree with them. I'd rather see an honest opinion over an honest interview over a roast. Absolutely. I could have gone and beaten him over the skull with a bunch of insults. That would have been entertaining for 5 minutes, but it wouldn't have gotten 3 shows, and it would have been contra to the effort of what I was trying to do. People can go back and watch those interviews now because they're up there forever. They're not going anywhere. After everything is said and done, and they can see his answers, and they can see the type of person he is, without me injecting my own opinion on that. Hey, Ragnarok Knight. I'm sorry I forgot to make the VIP lounge today. I'm sorry. I was doing Pokemon Go before the show, and I was doing raids. So I completely forgot. One of our supreme Knuckleheads, Ragnarok Knight, in the house. And that's the thing, Toyman. I wasn't even nice to him. I was just professional at him. I wasn't even incredibly nice. There's a few things that I tried to nudge towards. But when I was reading his body language, I was reading the way he was answering, and I'm like, all right, we're not going to get an answer out of that. We're just going to get bullshit. So I moved on. Like when Ken offered to talk to Joey, you didn't want to see Joey get roasted. You were curious to learn more about him. Yeah, I don't think I could have and this is full disclosure. I don't think that I could have an honest conversation with Joey. Simply because Joey is so far beyond reasoning with me that even if I came at him reasonably, I think that he would take it the wrong way. So I don't think I could have an honest conversation with him. Even though the dude's a fucking idiot. My opinion. I'd love to see Ken have a conversation with him. Imagine doing Pokemon Go raids before the show. Exactly. I did catch a Zacian though. So that was good. I did catch a Zacian. It's a good saying from Metal Gear Solid series. Neither enemy nor friend. Exactly. Exactly. Because do I think that I would have Sonny on the show? No. Because I don't think that she would engage in anything honest. I wouldn't have her on the show. I wouldn't have Chrissy on the show because Chrissy would just be incriminating herself entirely. And it would be biased. Joey is the balding, no teeth moron that got mad at me for denying his autism. Which, again, I don't know him personally, and he has lied to me about many things, so why wouldn't he lie about being autistic? I don't know. The dude could literally tell me that pork tastes like pork, and I wouldn't believe him. He's at a point where he's lied so many times, I don't believe a fucking word that comes out of his toothless mouth. when KR and Chloe first contacted you, try to be reasonable and understanding to clear up the misunderstanding, but you figure out quickly who is interested in honesty and who isn't? Yes, absolutely. Like the people on Twitter, you see it. I see it all the time. People mention me and get into conversation with people. They aren't looking for facts. Like the one guy is like, "Oh, I'm so, blah 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 blah. I'm glad that they're moving away from Quentin Flynn." And then someone comes in and is like, "Actually, those allegations were debunked. Here's the here's where it's all debunked." And the person's like, "I don't fucking care." Like, we know that you don't care. Like, it's very obvious that you're not interested at all in anything of facts and truth. You can recall now. There you go, Ken. Exactly. Pork tastes like pork. No, the fuck it does not, sir. You are a fucking liar. I don't believe you. The dude literally could tell me that, and I would not believe him. It's not that I don't like him because he's autistic. I don't even know. I don't even believe a fucking word. He tells me he's autistic. I don't believe him. He could tell me that he has a penis. I won't believe him. I will not believe him. He could tell me anything. I do not believe a word he says. They're just not interested in truth. And like every so often I get notifications of these like goofballs trying to poke me because they want my attention so bad. They want my attention so bad. The one thing I do believe is that he pays women to tell him off. I do believe that. A broken clock is right twice a day, so I do believe him about that, though. Because his retort to our initial back and forth was that he usually has to pay women to talk to him like that, and it's like, not many people would really understand that that's a kink that you can pay for. And so like they always want to have like this argument with me so I can call them like useless wastes of human excrement and like mutant pylons and stuff like that, so they can just beat off to it for free because I'm just giving it to them for free. But yeah, I get those people all the time. It's weird. You know the feeling your mother is a pathological liar. She lies so much, no matter how small and how simple it is. Yeah, people are like that. People are like that. Why talk about your kinks? That's what I'm saying, Toy Man. But you can tell like immediately when you get into a conversation, they're just like, oh yeah, tell me how fucking terrible I am. What the hell is wrong with you? It's like that's when we hit the mute button and we walk away. That's what happens there. We hit mute and then we're like, yeah, that's enough of you, thanks. That's enough of you. But like there's I know a lot of people who have that pathological lying issue. And they can't differentiate reality from fiction. I know, sadly, I know some people that go to LARP with that. And they have something happen to them in character and they think the person that played the character actually did the thing that they did in character. We have women like Jodi Arias who kill men out of jealousy and then call him a pedophile in death, but for some reason it's hard for these people to believe what happened to Quentin. So they don't want to believe. They don't want to believe it. There is so much instant reward in pandering to clout and clout chasing on the internet right now. People don't want to stand up and have the deluge of the internet come down on them. If he was a woman and said, yeah, I'm a victim of a stalker and revenge porn, absolutely they'd be understanding. Absolutely they'd be understanding. It's because of the current situation that we have in society where we get instant Not just gratification, instant idolization. I could go on the internet right now and post this fucking massive twit thread about how like rap artists are bad. And then the audience would stand up, standing ovation, billions of likes. Oh my God. And then oh my God, I never expected this to blow up like that. Here's the thing I'm going to shill. This is why people do it. Because it gets results. Because the vast majority of Muppets that are on social media just believe the first thing that they come across. They see the first thing that comes across their Twitter feed. That must be true. Wow, I can't believe that, Papega. Because we have a bunch of broken people that were raised by broken people, and it's not getting any better anytime soon. Unfortunately. When you have someone getting hired, and the first thought in people's minds is to go back 10, 15, 20 years. What did they post on social media 20 years ago? Oh my God, he said the word Jew 20 years ago. Can't work now. Oh, he liked a Trump tweet 5 years ago. Ugh. You shouldn't be allowed to live. That's what we're dealing with. Because we have a bunch of people in the world that they hate their fucking existence. They hate their existence and they want everyone else to hate their existence too. Envy and resentment, absolutely. I'll tell you guys a story just before we finish up the stream, though. A few weeks ago at my work, my boss was just like, my boss and I were just like chatting casually. And my boss goes, hey, have you ever given any thought to advancement? Have you ever given any thought like what you want to do with the company? And I stopped him straight up and I said, I'm happy where I am. I'm happy doing what I'm doing right now. Because I'm like, I know where you want to go with this. Because we lack good leadership in like the management areas. And in whatever else. And I've done a lot to mentor a lot of people and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I understand. I understand that you want to push me to advancing and growing in the company and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look. I'm happy where I am to come into work, do my work, and go home. I'm happy to come in and be a consistent force. I also understand that you need people like me to be in the positions that I am. Be flexible, be able to do this, and blah, 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 because it gives people something to look at as a standard. It allows me, and I'm like, I learned a long time ago that I don't need to be a manager to mentor people. I don't need to be a CEO to inspire people. I don't need to be a supervisor to guide people. I can mentor people right from where I am, and I can make the experience better for myself. I can make the experience better for other people. I can make the experience better for management. I am happy doing what I am right now. Like, while I appreciate you recognizing that, I have no interest in advancing. I have no interest in moving out because I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing my stuff. I'm happy with that. I don't want to take on additional responsibilities of people that don't want to do their work. I don't want to patch the potholes that need fixing by taking on additional things that are not my job description. Like, no. But I will be more than happy to be a shining example for people that are coming in and mentoring them and helping them get to where they want to be. And I'm doing that between the time that I clock in and the time that I clock out, and that's it. I think a lot of people need to realize that you can do a lot. Even if you're just a mundane drone coming in, clocking out, you frontline people, the bare bottom of the company, interact with the customers, interact with the public, interact with their coworkers more than any CEO on the face of the planet. So to think that a CEO is more powerful of a person than the person who cashes out or the person who stocks the merchandise is a fucking stupid thought. Really stupid thought, because everyone has a role for a reason. Without cashiers, how's a store going to run? What's going to happen? What would happen if a store had all of their cashiers just not show up one day? What do you think they would do? What do you think they would do? They would put their supervisors on. Well, what if their supervisors didn't show up? Well, they would put their managers on, right? Husband took a leadership position to protect his team, but you definitely agree. This is what I'm saying. Like, I did that before Ellie, and it was the worst decision I ever made. It was the worst decision I ever made. Because I sacrificed my own happiness for people who ultimately didn't care. Self-checkout, yeah. And if you get a self-checkout, what happens when the people who don't want to do self-checkout just put their stuff down and leave? If as a customer, I walk up and I have a cart full of things, I see that there's no cashiers, there's just a self-checkout, I just leave the cart and I leave the cart there and walk out of the store. Then you start losing customers. Then you start losing customers. Now, don't get me wrong, Ellie. There was a number of people that I ended up really making a difference in their life, and that made it worthwhile. Have a good one. Yeah, we're just about wrapping up here. I had a handful of people that made it worthwhile, and it makes me happy because I see them in the world now in different jobs, and I know I played a part in their lives that bridged them from a tough time to where they are now. And that makes me happy. But we all have roles to play. And it doesn't matter if you're a burger flipper or a fucking CEO. We all have jobs to do. We all have roles and importance in those jobs. So when it comes down to finding pride, if all you do is just wake up, go to work, come home, sleep, you can find pride in that. You can find pride in it. You don't have to do something big and flashy. You don't have to do that stuff. You don't have to have 1 million people view your shit on Twitter or like your shit. You don't have to look outside for validation. You just have to you have to look inward and say, you know, am what I am doing, am I doing enough for myself to be proud of it? Am I doing enough? Am I going in and am I making a difference for myself? Doesn't fuck what everyone else thinks. Fuck what everyone else thinks. What does liking a tweet have to do with how you do your job, by the way? We're so focused in today's society about what everybody else fucking thinks about us, that skill is secondary, which is wrong. Skill should be the primary motivating factor. I mean, I don't know about you, but if someone's going to be using the jaws of life to open me up from a fucking car wreck, Number one, I want the person using it to be skilled at using it. I want them to cut my fucking arm off. Number two, I want the person that assembled the goddamn thing to be skilled at assembling it. I don't fucking care if they're a Trump supporter. I don't care if they, you know, did something in the Middle East. I don't fucking care. Are they skilled at what they do? Are they the proper person for these jobs? Can they put a bolt into a nut? If you want to sit there and explain to me, if you want to give me an answer to, can they hammer a nail into a board? And your answer is, well, they voted for Trump. Just shut your fucking mouth. We have moved away from quality of skill to quality of how well the monkeys can jump when we tell them to. And that's wrong. They consider you replaceable no matter what. Well, we are replaceable no matter what. That's why I'm saying, if you want to do something meaningful, make your own. Don't waste your time on a company to tell you that you're meaningful. Do we need PR agents to help if some of them cannot represent us properly? PR agents are parasites. PR agents only exist. PR agents only exist to steal your money. If chaos didn't exist, PR agencies wouldn't need to exist, so they operate on both ends of it. They start shit, they start the fire, and then they market themselves as the firefighters. They're both. And they're trash and they're garbage and they have no place in society because they don't have an end game. Their end game is perpetuating bullshit. Can't replace you if no one wants to work. Exactly. If everyone is doing their own stuff and participating in their own things and not relentlessly relying on corporations will fall apart. We're seeing that right now in Ontario, where people are refusing to go get a job because they're making more money on social assistance, because going to a job is detrimental. Why would you go to a job for $14 an hour and get your head kicked in for 8 hours a day to get 20% of your wages taken from you when you could literally just sit at home and play video games for $16 an hour? Because companies don't care about your welfare. Companies don't care about your well-being. What's your take on those non-binary peeps slicing off their tits and nips to try and look like a doll's chest? I think it's weird. I think people who need to go that far because they have an image of what they don't want to be, I think they need to find a deeper meaning. I think they need to stop feeding into impossible standards. This is what I say to people. This is what I will say to people if they come up to me and say that they are looking at transitioning. If you're looking at transitioning, if you're trans, if you're non-binary or what have you, be realistic. Don't buy into the hype. Don't buy into the people who like literally look perfect. If you're 7 foot tall, 800 pounds, you're not going to transition into a 4'2", 50-pound princess. It's not going to happen. Be realistic about your expectations. And if you feel like you have to look like a fucking Barbie doll, that is not realistic. That is teetering on mental delusions. And we need to stop. We need to stop as a society. Stop pandering to that. And stop pretending like that's what being trans is. Because it's not. It isn't. These are individuals that are broken. These are individuals that need assistance to get back to. And there's a lot of times that they don't understand what the reason is that they want these things. They just think that, oh, I see it happen for this person, so I'm going to do this. It's like if you watched a commercial and said, "Oh, do you have mesothelioma? If you have any of these symptoms, you could have mesothelioma and you could be entitled to a cash settlement." And then a person sees that and like, "Well, I have problems. I have mesothelioma. Therefore, I am entitled to this thing." This is why we have processes. I don't agree with gatekeeping if someone wants to transition, but I do agree on having a set standard. Be like, look, this is a permanent situation. This is something that will change you permanently forever. Give this some thought, etc. And the human mind is one of the few things that we have literally no fucking understanding of, to the degree of what we should have an understanding of. It's the sense that, look, we have a lot of people out there that feel a lot of different things. Is going out there and changing your body going to solve the issue? Or is it going to complicate the issue? Because what they don't tell you in these picture perfect little transitions and all this other stuff, right, is the recovery time, the degree of pain that you have to go through, the surgeries, the amount of surgeries, the complications, the downtime. It's all there on paper. You see it, but you don't actually realize it. Realize that recovery time for certain surgeries is 6 to 8 months. Months! Of which you're going to be bedridden for 3 to 6 of those months. When you look at this stuff, and like you literally won't be able to take care of yourself. You won't be able to go and stream. You won't be able to play video games. You'll barely be able to get out of bed. You're going to be in the hospital for an extended period of time. You'll be healing. You'll be on medications. You might get hooked on medications. You might gain a lot of weight because you literally can't move around. So when you're finished transitioning and all of the surgeries that go along with it, you might not be the picture perfect thing you expected at the end of it. And that's a serious, serious thing that people have to think about. And you have to be willing at the end of it to say, this matters to me to a point where I am willing to go through all of this. I am willing to gain weight. I am willing to have the pain. I am willing to go through the complications of surgery. I am willing to die to get this done. If you're not willing to do that, then don't transition. If you're not willing to go through all of it, then don't do it. Because the alternative, right, is living with yourself as you are. And if living with yourself as you are is basically as good as dying, then that is what the point of transitioning is. Living in your body in a comfortable manner. Now, society has gotten to a point where we have recognized that men and women come in all shapes and sizes. This help. People ask me all the time, and this is a lot longer of a sidebar than I originally intended. People ask me all the time, how do you deal with gender dysphoria? How did you, as in myself, how did you deal with gender dysphoria and dealing with that? I dealt with my dysphoria, and a large part of it was because, in myself anyways, my estrogen was way too, I wasn't getting the estrogen that my brain thought I needed. So it was causing this massive issue. And when I started taking estrogen and I started getting on hormone replacement therapy, my mind leveled out. I'm much more stable in terms of that, in terms of depression and anxiety. I've not had depression and anxiety since I've been on HRT. But in terms of dysphoria, would I like my body to look a certain way? Absolutely. The same way that a bodybuilder would love to lose the belly fat. The same way that, the girl on the beach would love to have a better tan. Or, bigger boobs. Or a nicer butt. Dysphoria is not just regarding gender. Dysphoria and dysmorphia is not being comfortable in your body as you are. And so when I look at it, it did bother me a while ago. Even taking the HRT, it did bother me that I wasn't looking a certain way, or I was never going to look a certain way. Like shaving, for example. Some days my peach fuzz comes in, it takes days to come in. Some days I can shave and literally an hour later it would come back in. So that it bothered me a lot. My voice, for example, being too low or being too masculine, that bothered me a lot. Until I finally had the click in my brain, the switch clicked off and said, you know what? I know a lot of cisgendered women. I work with a lot of cisgendered women that look and sound like a man. That look and sound masculine. That look and sound not like what their biological gender is. And they are not trans. They are cisgendered. They're married. They have kids. They're happy. They identify as women. And I'm like, it doesn't, I guess that part is okay, well, that clicked in my mind. It's well, yeah, people come in all shapes and sizes. There's very effeminate men that are that are men and are not trans. Somehow Ron Toye is not a walking female to male trans. But that helped me cope with the dysphoria, understanding it's okay, well, this is the body that I got, right? This is the deck that I was given. I just got to make the best of it. This is the hand that I was dealt. I just have to make the best of it. And when I want to doll myself up, I can look pretty fucking nice. And you know what? That's better than most people. And so I'm grateful for that. I finally got to a point at work where people address me with the right pronouns without me even prompting or saying anything. Again, I am grateful for that because that is not the case for a lot of people. So when it comes down to it, in terms of dealing with that gender dysphoria and all that other stuff, the advice I give to people is like, look, realize that the way that you present yourself, number one, is very important. If you want to be perceived as something in the world, you have to believe that about yourself. You always look nice. Thank you, Ellie. I appreciate it. I am a fucking dumpster fire right now because it's 8 billion degrees in my house and where I live. And it's been like that all week. So I've put absolutely no effort into like makeup or clothing or anything at all. Because literally anything I put on is going to be like sweat through. But this goes for any situation, right? This goes for any situation. If it goes for skin color, it goes for what have you. Be confident in the person that you have in front of that mirror, right? Be confident in yourself and stop giving a fuck about what other people think. There is a line that people can cross. There is a line that people can cross where if they physically accost you because of XYZ, that's an issue. Or if they physically or socially refuse you illegally, like not allowing you into a store, for example, because you are X, Y, or Z. This goes for white men too. I'm not going to sit here and say whatever else. If someone says that a white man is not allowed in a store, I think that is bullshit. Just as much as I think that if you refuse like a black trans woman into a store, 100%. I don't think anyone should be excluded because of what they are. Unless they're an asshole. If they're an asshole, I fully support discriminating against them. Isn't there some bill up where you can fine and even jail people for misgendering? I don't know. I mean, possibly. It sounds like a UK thing. Because they took that way too goddamn far. But like at the end of the day, who the fuck cares? Unless you're going out on a date with them, who the fuck cares what's in their pants? Who the fuck gives a shit? If they're not getting in your way, you're all in for people transition, but what you don't support is when someone like Oli London transitions themselves to another nationality, saying they're Korean but they're British. Yeah. You misspelled it. Look, this is what I mean. It's watering down what being trans means. And people do it intentionally because they want to be special and they want to be included. It doesn't matter it does not matter at fucking all to me what's in my neighbor's pants. It doesn't matter to me if they're sleeping with a man or a woman. Somebody might have an issue if they're sleeping with an animal. I don't care. It's not my private parts that are being touched with that, so I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, the world needs a fucking dose of mind your own fucking business. There are certain things that we have decided from a justice standpoint, from a morality standpoint, that are a fucking line cross. But we have since peeled back the line so goddamn much that simply offending somebody is now crossing a line. That is ridiculous. I think we have to have a standard. I think we have to uphold that standard, as uncomfortable as it is. And I think we need to get back to minding our own fucking business. MYOB, exactly. MYOB. I can't tell you how many Canadians I know that own MAGA hats, that have something to say about the US elections. It's not your fucking business. You don't vote there. You have literally zero control over it. You think Trump cares about your fucking opinion? Because you live in fucking Northern Ontario and you own a gun? You think Trump cares? Absolutely not. And these same people refuse to take action in their own politics. Refuse. Oh, what's the CBC? Gender Identity Rights Bill C-16. It was added to the section of the criminal code dealing with sentencing for hate crimes. And in the criminal code, which does not reference pronouns, so immediately no. Misusing pronouns alone would not constitute a criminal act. So yes, no, it does not. Nope. It does. Misgendering people will not be a crime, according to this. People like to use the headlines, but they don't actually like to read anything. Unfortunately. It's just that they added gender identity or expression to the protected groups, including age, race, sex, religion, disability. Yada, yada, yada. And the other part is advocating genocide of such people. Like advocating violence against such people. And then the third one's like not even including pronouns at all. So it's not. It's just there's just a bunch of alarmist fuckheads that want to make it an issue when it's not an issue. It's literally just amending laws to include modern day language. That's literally all it is. No, I'm not saying that this is you, Morpheus. I'm saying this is what a lot of wackadoos do. So just read the headline, they don't read any sort of a substance whatsoever, and they make a judgment based on it, and then they go out and tell people, "Oh my God, Canada's making it illegal to," and then they take that as fact and they run with it, and it's like, well, no, it literally in here says that it's not at all the case. It's just updating laws to include gender identity and expression because it was never actually explicitly stated anywhere. So it's just an update. People love to be outraged about stupid things when they just mind their own fucking business about some things. Be aware of it happening, obviously, because they could sneak in. Like, I mean, they could have very well snuck in the bill, like, you know, oh, if you're a white man, then you go to jail automatically whenever we tell you to. And be like, hold on a second, that's a problem. But no, this stuff is like milquetoast. It's just a bunch of fancy words that fucking two brain cell Andes can't understand. A lot of people that get really, really fucking tilted and upset about the gender identity thing when they don't understand that they have a gender identity. They just don't have to tell people because it's common knowledge. Cisgender heterosexual is a gender identity. Sorry. I hate to break it to you. I hate to break it to you, folks. Being a cisgender heterosexual is a gender identity and sexual expression. You're part of the alphabet mafia now. Sorry. And the way things are going, that's actually a choice. Well, it's not really a choice. It's something that's like, quote unquote, you're born that way. So it's less common. It's the default option. However, it is something that people are born as. They don't choose to be heterosexual. They don't choose to be cisgendered. They just don't have to do anything to change it. So that's my swipe at people that get all fucking uppity and bullshit over gender expression stuff, because it's like there's no point. I draw a line at parents telling their children what their gender and expressions are. That's where I draw a line. And it's like a parent telling their child that they're trans. Nope. Not happening. Wrong. That is an individual choice that third parties should and can't make. So, that nonsense. That's for a different day. But thank you guys. I know this is a lot longer than I actually anticipated going, but I appreciate y'all hanging out for all of us. We're going to cut it here, though, because we're putting people to sleep. So, thank you guys so much for hanging out. This has been another wonderful Knuckleheads episode. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. The super chats, for the chats themselves, and for the conversation. I wanted to give you guys a little bit more today because we missed past week. So hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy this wonderful broadcast, please like and subscribe. Let me know. That's how you can let me know that you enjoyed it. Tell your friends. Share all of this wonderful stuff. And until next time, as always, keep your stick on the ice, and we'll see ya. Bye-bye.